Trump's best since like the third 2016 Hillary debate.
Yeah,
This was an unbelievably good showing of Trump.
Did it bother you that every time he got a question, he would spend a minute and a half going back to something that Biden said, and then they would ask him to follow up and say, "Okay, do you want to answer the question now?"
Well, he basically didn't answer questions. I mean, like
it was.
Well, because if you look at it, how it was done, right? You're right. I mean, I wish he had answered questions on what he's going to do for. I mean, the policy. I mean, to give credit to the moderators, they actually asked some, pretty good questions. They weren't like biased questions or anything. They weren't gotcha questions.
Trump, why are you so racist?
but they did. But Trump didn't answer them. But I think the reason Trump didn't answer them is because this guy will say something that is a known narrative. See, the problem Joe Biden did was he went with what the media narrative is and tried to jack him. He called them suckers and losers when he went there. And I went there and he did that whole thing. And then Trump said, hold on a second. This is debunked. Yeah, by the general, 19 people highly reputed. And he had to say it because if he didn't, this guy's going to keep pushing him and perpetuating it. I just wish Trump had said, look, this guy is a liar. And he looked right at the moderators and said, you guys pushed the fine people hoax. For a year, you guys all he lied about it, and you all went along with it, and and he's lying about this suckers and losers thing, and you guys went along with it. He lied about 51 intelligence officials, which wasn't there. He lied about his son's laptop. I mean, what more do you want from the guy?
I can hear it in your voice that you're very excited about the result of this
Not really,
debate.
I think.
But I mean, it's not won yet, dude. I mean, remember that a lot of people don't like Trump, so don't be as excited. And also because the conservatives are so bad at marketing. Conservatives are terrible. I think that Democrats are much smarter at strategy, as communication, and all of that. So don't don't claim the victory yet.
Yeah, I'm not claiming a victory. What I'm saying is, I'm pointing out. I mean, I said at the beginning, Trump had answered a lot of questions on policy. He needed to answer those questions because I think they're important questions. Like, what are you going to do with child, taxes and child care costs, and what are you going to do with some of these? So he didn't really answer those questions. Now, from someone I know who works for the campaign, Trump plans to address that in his rally in Virginia today. But that's not the way to do it. You should do it on the debate stage. So I think I'm not saying I'm openly excited. I'm saying Joe Biden performance was dismal, and people expected that. But I think the problem here is that there was a lot of stuff that was exposed. I'm happy because we've been fed propaganda for years by Democrats, and not a single one of them still has the balls to come out and say, hey, we were wrong about the Hunter laptop. Hey, we were wrong about these things. Hey, we were wrong on these things, but here's why. At the time we believed it. Not a single one has had the balls to do it. And that just tells you that, hey, if there's a threat to our nation or a threat somewhere else, these people will openly lie to you and not take the microphone, or will work with the media to cover up the stuff, because that's what they're capable of doing.
Yeah, dude, but I mean, I'm sorry, but when I hear conservatives throwing shit at Democrats, I just can't help but feeling it's so hypocritical, because the Conservative Party is not necessarily better than the Democrats. They both are just after one thing, and that is to control the country and to have power and to impose their authoritative measures and be just as authoritarian and
sticks
bad, as the old ones. And this is what I always say.
I mean, if that was
the conservatives, they use all these arguments about oh my God, they lied to us, or oh my God, look what they're doing with implementing
apparently to hell, I suppose.
But in the end, when I actually see it from a very high level and try to be objective, I feel that the conservatives are not upset because the Democrats are violating all these rights. They're upset that they're not.
Matthew Crockford, hey Sticks, how's the Netherlands and hay fever? Mercedes okay? Yeah, the car is okay, although it has some problems. Actually, there's somebody coming over later. My left sinus is still inflamed.
One
My
more
right sinus
laptop
is
to go.
fine. Gerald Armstrong, we have dysfunction in the DNC for president at the convention in Chicago. Coincidence? No, the convention is going to be a shit show. I can't wait to live react to that. Wow, archaeological tip for you. A 3,300-year-old ship with tons of storage vessels was found near Israel's coasts. The very first to be found at such a great distance with no line of sight to any land mass. That sounds cool. Do they have any wine aboard? I would like that.
My elderly
Sparky,
grandparents.
greetings, fearless leader. Greetings to you as well. Jason Rice at
My
99
grandparents
cents.
in this
Don't
country,
come
no,
and
they
thank you very much.
needed to deal with their own
And
personal
Chance
issues
Dems,
before they
Flying
died.
Jit,
And that was just very
Junior,
difficult.
BB
It's
Sloan.
like elderly
They can't do that
abuse.
because he's not
Dude,
running as a
like,
Democrat.
I mean, Joe Biden should be at home with his grandchildren and being
Enjoying life.
loved by people and just being in bed, you know, having chocolate and cookies and yeah, enjoying that he had a very successful political life and let him retire with honor
Exactly. And
instead
that
of
should be the
instead of
message to them.
humiliating him like that. It's
You
ridiculous.
get Nancy Pelosi, you got Chuck Schumer, you get all the people that matter in the Democratic Party, and they meet him in the Oval Office. Mr. President, you got a 50-year run. Things are great. But if we continue, we're going to lose the presidency. They may actually win more congressional seats and maybe a Senate seat for the third.
But
That's,
it's
but
imagine the exit that they're giving to his long political career. He's gonna go away being a weak man, someone that cannot put two thoughts together, someone humiliated, you know?
but
So why would they want to do that to him?
No.
It's like
exactly.
they hate.
Why leave in defeat when he can leave? It's like the Mary Tyler Moore show. They stopped the show at its highest ratings. They didn't wait till it jumped the shark, as they say. They didn't wait till some stupid season where their ratings were half. They stopped where they were ahead, and he needs to stop where he's ahead. Just say, okay, I'm done. Don't know. I can't prognosticate on who's going to pick it up and how that all. It's going to be messy. But at least for him personally, he'll just say, I'm not going to run anymore. He'll do the Johnson thing, if asked to serve, I won't, or whatever that quote is. It was a wonderful quote in 1968. No, I'm an open convention, and that'll be that. But he'll resign with dignity, all right? Not resign, but he'll just finish out his term. And that's the way it should be. Done. End of story. It'll be a messy story after him, but his personal legacy will be remained intact. Right now, he's destroying it.
He's gonna go in history as like oh my god, that guy that was president until he couldn't, they kicked him out because he couldn't run anymore, That's sad. That's really sad.
I agree. I concur with what Yakov said. I believe, with Biden, he has done an incredible disservice to his country by not stepping down and letting a younger, more cognitively astute person to take over. And he's just been driven by ego. No, I can make it. I'm going to be the president of the United States. I believe that, I suppose I'm talking from a foreign perspective, but I do believe that Biden has done a great disservice to the American people by just becoming OAP? What's OAP in America? Overaged person. He's not going to achieve anything. If Biden wins, look what happened in the debate. He's not there cognitively, so it's a complete waste. He should have stepped aside and said, I have done service, let a younger candidate, let someone fresh come over. But no, his ego took over. That's my opinion.
Who do I talk to about checking in?
Foursquare.
I'm sorry, I was checking
And Marvin.
for service. I just needed to check myself in for Suicide Watch.
See, I don't like that joke.
Marvin, your mic's open.
I think you should joke about suicide.
Yeah,
The title of the room is Democrats on Suicide Watch.
Yeah, I read that in the post, right? The post?
Yeah, why isn't anybody playing with me? Come on.
NPR had a great line.
Because I take mental illness seriously.
NPR had a great line saying that the Democrats are about to pull the fire alarm. I'm like, what, Jamal Bowman's coming back?
Yeah, it's really interesting. They're going to have a Zoom convention before the Ohio deadline so they can get them on the ballot in Ohio.
Who are they going to replace him with? Who are they going to replace the candidacy with? I mean,
Obviously, Kamala.
There is no. Well, she's not going to win. The one
Gavin
person that
Newsom,
could
but he's
have
too
the-
polarizing.
was
Gavin
destroyed by
Newsom's
Trump in
logical
2016. That would have been Hillary Clinton, but she's done because of what Trump did to her Anna Rowan hubris. That destroyed her in 2016. She would have been the best person to.
Okay, let's say who it is going to be, not who it's not going to be.
There is nobody.
Gavin
they don't have
Gavin
anybody.
Newsom's a younger guy, but he's polarizing. That's the problem.
Is he more polarizing than Biden? Than Trump.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
No.
Hey,
Republicans hate Gavin Newsom. That's the thing.
No,
It's
we're
not gonna be
talking
a little.
from the Democratic angle, not the Republican.
No, I understand, but there are still there's a sizable amount of people who switch back and forth between parties during elections.
yeah, they're either going to stay at home or vote for Trump.
Moderate Democrats hate Gavin Newsom.
Problem is they're handing the election to Trump by continuing this.
That's correct. That's the
They're
problem.
just handing it to him.
There's
Well,
no.
I don't
They need a fighting
think
chance.
that's a problem. I think
They need
actually
a
right
fighting
now
chance.
America needs a little bit more of Trump doses. And I'm not saying he's the perfect president, but sometimes, I think that America needs a little bit of shock therapy. The society at the moment is going to a very weak state in which we're seeing a lot of mental health, issues, a lot of people trying to accuse others and cancel others because their lack of resiliency, towards others' opinions and towards other people's thoughts, and it has created kind of like a bubble wrap society, and I think that's not good. That's not good, not for any other country either, but especially for America. If you guys want to keep being leaders, and I think that a doses of Trump could actually help get their shit together and just make sure that they're actually doing what they need to do with their lives, not caring who the president is, and I don't know. I don't know if they need a president. I don't think they need a president that protects them and their feelings more. I think they need some shock therapy, another 4 years, and then you can choose a more moderate president or a more reasonable or that is not so outspoken. I don't care, but I think Trump is like a bitter medicine when the patient needs it. It's not nice, but I think they need it.
Yesterday reinforced something for me. That is, I don't like either of them. I don't want Biden having his finger on the nuclear football because he's going to hesitate and probably make a really stupid decision because he is completely insane. Like, he just has no mind anymore. I don't want Trump because he's going to blow up his enemies without thought. It's in my PTR is the turd sandwich and the giant douche from South Park. Like, this is what we have. What do we have for either party that can replace the nonsense?
I don't agree with you. I don't think that Trump has an itchy trigger finger. The things that he was pitching in terms of foreign policy was that he'd push for deals and he wouldn't have America pay too much.
He didn't answer the question last night about retribution. He kept avoiding it again and again.
Yeah, because he's a deal maker. He doesn't know what he's going to do when he's in the room. He's just saying, I'm going to go to the room and I'm going to make a deal.
Yeah, I think that, okay, he might be more reckless, of course, than Biden. Anybody can be more reckless than Biden. But I don't think that Trump is as evil as people are trying to portray him, I think that he's just, I don't know. Sorry.
He is who he is. After the debate last night, listening to Trump derangement syndrome Democrats, they talked out of their left and their right side mouth. They went back and forth on everything they said. It was so beautiful. And today is the melting point where it's true. Like, he's toast. No one he can't beat Trump in the election now. So they have to find some other star. but all their stars are diminished because the whole party is imploding.
Yeah. It is. It's sad. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
It's not sad. This is what was predicted to happen. In fact, Augustus, he actually predicted this, and he said that this whole thing, they did it early so that they can introduce a new candidate at the right moment to give us the honeymoon effect, and it'll raise our dopamine levels, and they might have a chance of winning this election now. But at this point, the only competency to run the United States of America is the orange MAGA one, which everyone absolutely hates for no good reasons other than the fact that they personally have salty grapes.
I'm not sure what was just said, but
A big nothing.
It's English, right? I mean, I have nothing to give you.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's not English? Okay, my bad.
No, that's okay. You can, but
Yeah.
whether or not Biden is senile is irrelevant to Trump's lack of capability. Also, so it's a shit Big Mac and a shit quarter pounder with cheese. Right.
It is.
Trump's lack of ability? His ability is fantastic. He's smart. He's in physically good condition.
This is exactly the rhetoric.
Well, it would be nice if we could have Thomas Massey as our next president, or Rand Paul, or competent leadership who doesn't sell its citizenry down a $5 trillion, $10 trillion fucking steamboat ship of shit. I'm not spreading shit, Marvin. You have Trump derangement syndrome. That's a fact. You spent a lot of years talking about Trump, and now you're about to see Trump again for 4 years, and you ain't gonna like it. That's a fact.
Listen, again, between the two candidates, I'd rather have Biden. But
Will you if Biden continues on the race, will you vote for him, Biden?
I won't vote for Trump. That doesn't necessarily mean I'll vote for Biden.
Okay.
Right.
Even if he is like in that decline, I mean.
Again, just because I don't vote for Trump doesn't mean I vote for Biden.
So you wouldn't vote?
Maybe I wouldn't vote. Maybe I'd vote independent.
Okay.
Right.
Well, that's another option. Like, where is the independent at this stage? I mean, I think it would have been nice to have also the other guy, RFK, in the debate as well. Because, or maybe they will have him in the second debate, because now he might become more relevant. Actually, this might favor him.
I just can't believe that we have these incompetency in all degrees. Everywhere you look.
You know how ridiculous it is for you to think that there's incompetency? It's ridiculous.
It's not. It's fact. And for someone who continues to pontificate on the fact that they believe the election was stolen, and who will not simply say, I agree, like that was a great moment, right? 3 times he was asked, will you accept the election? And he could not say that. Why?
He did say that. He said he'd accept an honest election, a legal election.
He said as long as it's fair. So that says if it's not fair in his eyes, he'll do whatever he can to preserve it.
Yeah, he basically said I reserve the right to sue.
Right.
I found that part
fair.
hilarious.
It's a good answer, because let's be honest, they all sue on all the elections.
Well, whether they do or they don't, again, the point was, just all you have to do is say, yes, I will accept the election. And you believe in the system. Right? Now, the reality is this, right?
Him when he feels there's a corrupt thing. And he's going to say that it's a corrupt election.
Right, of course
he's not wrong
but
either.
Mixed, here's the thing, right? He doesn't even, he should have just said yes, because he's going to win anyway if he goes against Biden.
That's not how Trump operates. He doesn't like to be pinned down. He did make one massive promise about Ukraine-Russia. He said that he would end the conflict before he was inaugurated.
He also said he'd build a wall, and Mexico would pay for it.
That's not, I know, but I love
some level. I like that
ridiculous.
show of confidence, because he essentially said those 2 conflicts would not have occurred if he was president. He hammered home the weakness of the United States, and all Biden kept on doing is say, "We have the best military in the world. We're strong. People respect us."
Biden wasn't there last night.
Yeah, no, it was so hard.
Listen, the Trump derangement syndrome, in terms of people getting angry with him not answering questions, is the funniest thing, because it kind of proves my point that all communication is hypnosis. The question is irrelevant when you reset and you reframe. So that's how communication works. Yeah, but you should probably change your title and get suicide out of there and make it Democrats Implode. Because let's not admit, a lot of purple-haired Democrats have a lot of mental health problems. So it's not, maybe it's too sensitive to use the word suicide.
It's always a problem to publicize concepts of suicide. That was the Werther effect. Goethe published a short story glamorizing suicide because of unrequited love. It led to a rash of suicides. That's what happens when you report on suicides.
What about mass shooters? What about liberal, disgusting piece of shit mass shooters? What about reporting on those mass shooter piece of shits?
Yeah, that's also a problem. That's why they've stopped saying their names. They more comment on the victims.
So if we were to gather here today and try to come up with the problem that we're trying to solve, what would that problem be? Could it be Joe Biden? Could it be the Democrats? Are they the problem we're actually all trying to solve, and we're all propagandized into thinking it's the other way?
Yeah.
What do you mean it's the other way? What does that mean?
What is the opposite of a Democrat? What country do you live in?
America.
Okay, so it's called how do we get Donald Trump to win, and how do we get as many Republicans in office as possible to have competent leadership in this country instead of these purple-haired clowns that are ruining the world and causing World War III. Trump called out Biden, said he's marching us to World War III. Wake the fuck up.
Anyway.
You don't like truth.
Is it not true that
you don't?
mortal?
Is it not true that Trump is a convicted guy?
Yeah, but that's getting
right.
appealed.
So why are you voting for him? Why are you supporting that? As a human being,
my vote goes to the Democrat whether I like it or not.
Yeah. Listen, you have to come on here, tighten your loins, and vote against somebody who's going to take away your country's sovereignty.
I'm not going to vote for the elder abuse. That's
right?
wrong, man.
I mean, the point is, Trump lost that debate on
policy.
Trump won on lies, right? And people love that. Trump basically spoke lies eloquently, and everybody's like, "Yo, this guy is better." Right?
I just read your fucking bio.
Yeah, it says vote blue. Vote blue.
Definitely, you're
not an American if you don't
bipartisan.
Because
Trump didn't know about America.
Trump is on stage talking about him.
Those coons who might be on the fence about Donald Trump.
Objectively, Trump won yesterday. Well, I guess I'm not an objective observer, so I can't say that. But
It was not a good night for Biden. That was my.
I think everyone
Could you even hear, understand, or rationalize anything in his closing statement?
no.
Bro, did you even did we even watch the same debate? Joe Biden crushed Donald Trump on policy. He crushed him on policy.
Okay. All right, John. No,
Come on.
I'm gonna give you that point, John, because actually that was one of the things that I said.
It's a troll.
No, I get it. I understand.
No, I'm not trolling. He won on policy. I'm 10 toes in the soil. Joe Biden wiped the floor with Donald Trump. Oh, he crushed him on policy. Oh.
Right.
Not standing 10 toes in the soil.
I know he's a troll, but he really actually did, though. Biden actually did.
Okay, now this is where you're going to start making fun of yourself. You see my point?
Okay, this is where you shut the fuck up and listen for a moment. He actually did make very good policy points last night. The problem is, there was nobody around to hear the fucking tree when it failed. He couldn't deliver worth a shit last night on the points that he made. They were actually good.
G-Don, are you there? You're in the Matrix, bro.
Sorry, bro. He's not all here. If you actually think for a second that Donald Trump didn't mop the floor with that old Alzheimer fucking fraud, you're crazy. Trump is going to become the next president because of this.
So, listen, Joe Biden was thrown a few softballs. He even fumbled the question about abortion and Roe and Dobbs. That was one moment he could have used to shine, but he couldn't even make that happen. So it was really bad. As much as I wanted Joe Biden to be the better participant in yesterday's debate, he wasn't. And this is coming from somebody who wants the Democratic Party to win again. Joe Biden was awful yesterday. There's no question about it. And I do agree with everyone spoken. The Democratic Party does have to select somebody else, because this Joe Biden that we have here is not the Joe Biden who won the last election. I don't think he can deliver. He just can't.
You think that the Democrats can choose a new candidate. Meanwhile, Joe is at the Waffle House roaming around taking selfies with black people while Jill is in a $30,000 suit crossing her hands saying, oh, fuck. He's totally lost it. Like, you can't stop this guy because he's that psychotic. He's essentially Patrick Bateman, but 83 years old. So how do you stop Patrick Bateman? He said family members, cousins, sisters, fathers, daughters are fucking each other and impregnating each other, and that's why we need abortion.
It was bad. It was bad. And G-Don, I will say, I don't agree with you. You said that he won on policy. He didn't make one coherent statement yesterday. Even when I thought he was going to go there, he trailed off. He wandered off and just fucked it up. It was really sad. At one point, I turned the volume down because I couldn't stand to hear the words coming out of Biden's mouth. That's how bad it was.
So speaking of volume, so how are you going to evaluate policy positions if you didn't even listen? The fuck?
No, I was going to say real quick. I said he couldn't seal the deal. That's what I said. When he tried to start well,
the whole time.
So I was gonna say, did you all notice halfway through the debate how I think Joe Biden's mic must have gotten turned up, because at the beginning he was like really low, and then halfway through the debate he was like loud again. Or was it just me? Maybe I'm hearing it.
No, I thought it was.
When you whisper and the control room raises your volume, that's called consideration and respect. That's respect.
Otis, I thought you were gonna say, when you were saying, and this is coming from, I thought you were gonna say something else.
Oh, what? This was coming from a black gay male who knows more about the American governance than you.
There you go.
You're black? I always thought you were white. You sound so elegant.
Oh, shut the fuck up, you racist piece of shit.
Yeah, that was.
Why is John here?
Why are any of you still going to vote for Joe Biden? Some of you are still Trump deranged syndrome. You're not going to vote for Trump. You're going to vote for Biden because you're that pathetic. You're that pathetic.
Damn, dog. I take that to be
This is the problem. Like talking to people on Clubhouse with this limited amount of brain, understand why someone might not vote for Biden or why someone might not want to vote for Trump. And you just don't have the correct processing. People have different reasons, different rationale, and you can't understand that. That's fine, but it's just not worth wasting time engaging with people like this.
Well, that's just your opinion. The truth is, you should be voting for America. Have you heard of this country you live in? It's called the United States of America. Maybe you should vote your conscience, you piece of shit.
Nicholas, to be fair, as a gay man, you should know that Trump doesn't have your best interests at heart, and you shouldn't be supporting somebody like that who wants to make life more unbearable for people like you. I mean, so Trump does do better actually with gay voters than he does with like other migrant groups, right? So you mean white gay voters? I mean, it's still 60-40. It's much higher than people expect.
Listen, for years, you Trump derangement syndrome Trump haters have been on this app picking your noses and your toes in Poughkeepsie. Finally, you see the truth. Your feckless leader, the one who's in control of the world's nuclear arsenal, the biggest economy, the biggest powerhouse country of the world. His brain is addled. He's rotting out. He cannot survive another term. And everyone here is living in a delusion.
Okay, first up, let's slow the fuck down and stop for a good goddamn moment, and let's not pretend like fucking Ronald Reagan was actually in control of his own goddamn White House. That motherfucker was just as whacked out as Biden is right now. There were 3 people in his goddamn administration.
Let's just be here now. Ronald Reagan is dead. Joe Biden's about to die, and suicides are imploding. Democrats are imploding. Democrats don't know what to do anymore. They realize they've been living in a delusion for years.
Right. So, like I was saying, Reagan was just as fucking not there as we're seeing Biden.
Oof.
To it according to like the problem is that was closer like at the bottleneck period like the where you have the Hellenistic Jews meeting and living around Jerusalem with the Jew of Jews, right? Not the Hellen.
Rome.
Yes, I heard. She was at first because a lot of people out there was like, damn, what's going on? I said, oh shit, let me mute my dog up here.
I thought you left the room and came back and I was snoring. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
No. You was in there. We just couldn't figure out what was. What's that, John?
Yeah, man.
Yo, what's going on?
Hello. Last night I heard you said you had me on your YouTube.
Yeah, you kind of went viral, but not really. I mean, it looked like you were going viral. You wanna hear it? I can pull it up. It's nothing special. It's nothing special.
Okay.
You gonna do a segment on me?
Well, we are talking about Oscar.
I can't find it now.
About all the hoes that Oscar be having? Is that what we're talking about? You don't be having hoes.
No.
Oscar, you be having hoes, sir. Please do not do that. You be having hoes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you did kind of go viral. Here we go. I think it's because of that guy in your room who said he was security for the Megan Stallion, and
Chris.
Yeah, that's why. Because I used the word the Megan Stallion or whatever.
Well, that was just you got that. I just did that.
I know it was yesterday.
Yeah, he's fast. No, today. Oh no, yesterday.
Hello.
Oh, Doc, you got shit faced last night.
What Chris said, man, I need to know how his night was with security guard for making a stallion last night.
Oh yeah.
I know that shit lit.
I know that I wasn't that shit faced because I know that like
like, I didn't make it all the way to the very end of the debate because I was so drunk from hearing that fucking bell. And then I ate an empanada and went to bed. But I was in the chat the whole time. If you go back to that room, I was literally in the chat. I didn't speak in that room at all.
Well, yes, you did.
Hey, yo, Doc kind of looked like Jack Sparrow, the nigga from Pirates of the Caribbean. Low key. Yeah, you look like him a little bit.
What?
Happy Diogenes.
Yo, what's up?
What's up?
You and Diogenes left his wife, and you guys are getting married, Abby?
You didn't know that? You fucking
Oh my God! I always thought she was a fatty.
She was a what?
Anyways, it doesn't matter.
She's a what?
Syrian brick of fat flesh.
What, you seen her?
Have you seen her? Have you been on dating apps? When people don't show pictures, they're generally fat pieces of shit. And go to their last photo.
What's wrong with fat bitches?
Go to their last photo.
Well, I'm a little chuleta. Hold on, I'm a little chuleta. I love fat bitches. What's wrong with fat bitches?
I love my girl right now. She's fat as fuck. So what?
Bro, you always drunk, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. Who? You, what's your name?
Doc.
Yeah. No, not you, Doc. He's worse than you, Doc. Who?
What are you talking about?
Him right there. What's his name? Yeah, the
You can't even say my name, bro. Relax, bro. I'm high as hell.
Well, you don't have your name on there though, so it's White Ryan.
Why don't you say my name?
Ryan no chili.
His name is Somali.
Ryan.
Oh, Somali. Right. White Ryan. Oh, it's city.
I love fat bitches.
Why you always drunk, bro?
And they love you too.
I love fat bitches.
And they love you too.
I need you big. I need that. You know what I'm saying? That big booty.
So you know what that means when you know they like to you like the squishy.
I love it when it sound like this. When it sound like this, I love
I need to get a little bit. It has a yeah, you do. My hands are louder than yours. It sounds like you got the
that's what it is.
Okay. Now we got it.
That's what it sound like.
Hold on, you mean like
Hey, P-Bud. Hey, don't be as strong as
I think Kitabug was actually twerking those cheeks over there. Congratulations, you won, Kitabug.
Thank you.
No, shit, that was you.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, shit.
He's trying to figure out how to get pegged by her now.
Hey, yo.
Not well.
What the fuck?
Hold on. He don't do that. He don't do that.
Oh.
He don't do no shit like that.
Hey, yo, Oscar.
What's up, bro?
Why you hating on niggas smoking on a pack?
What?
What the hell you drinking, bro? I do not sound like that when I'm high.
Bro, niggas smoking on a
I should be sound a little slow.
Nigga, I put a 3.5 in a blunt, nigga.
You put a 3, you a wasteful ass nigga.
Yeah, I put two rounds in the
No, I be hating that shit because I seen a nigga do that when he was always let's smoke. So I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. So my shit, I feel my blood. I guess because I got little hands. I don't know. But that motherfucker put a whole 3.5 in a fucking blunt, and I looked at him and I was like,
That's how we smoke.
I was like, why you roll so much in there? Yeah, I was like, why you roll so much in there? He was like, well, I mean, that's whatchamacallit. That's how I roll. I was like, so you really be just buying 3.5 just to roll in one fucking J? Oh, you wild. He was like, well, how many roll? I said, poop. But listen, I get 3. Because I guess I got small hands.
He can do that with a blunt.
He was like, I showed him my blunt. He was like, oh shit. He was like, damn. He said, you can roll my weed. I said, duh. I was gonna roll it anyway.
I'm gonna want to
Yeah, that's it. I was like, why the fuck I got so
working at SpaceX, building launch pads and creating rockets for SpaceX, and he has worked for NASA. And guess what? He is not a scientist. He
He's a self-taught scientist. He doesn't have certificates and he doesn't have university and whatever, but he's freaking smart. So let's not do this.
Those are the outliers. I just want to know his experience in this area.
You should have your face
That's
bashed.
fine, but then try to build a few questions to try to understand where he's. Oh my God, Mike, you're not helping yourself.
That's what I'm trying to do.
I'm trying to help you, and you're not helping me help you.
The base starts at education, and the next question is
no, not
experience.
necessarily, Jacob. It doesn't have to start.
That's fine. So let me finish, okay, please. You start with education. He says, I don't have a background in it. You then move on to, okay, what practical experience do you have in this area? If he says I was an Earth climate researcher for NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, then that's really good. He can be a polymath, right?
I'm sorry, but this is not the way that I would approach it. The way that I would approach it, I'm not telling you to change your way, but what I'm saying is, okay, the question for me would be, okay, Mike, you're showing us this. So what are you trying to say? Okay, this and that and that and that. Okay, how did you arrive to that conclusion? And ask all the questions, because maybe in asking him how he arrived to that conclusion, he will tell you that he has worked with this or he has worked with that, or that he has a friend here, a friend there.
Can you see
what has he worked for? And what, I don't know. I just think that.
Yes, I'm going down the same path, but it's hard through the insult.
The path of asking for his credentials and the path of asking for his experience, it's just leading to dismiss his argument just because he hasn't do that. No, it's not deflection.
No, it's not at all.
It's a deflection.
Okay, but you're not helping yourself because you're calling everyone a moron and stupid instead of trying to break it down for us and explain us how you arrived to that conclusion. Because listen, I can go on the internet and find nice graphics as well, and then people that don't agree with those graphics start calling them stupid. How about you tell us what made you arrive to that conclusion so that we can understand where you're coming from? But just starting to throw out insults, it's not helping either.
Well, there's this thing called the Industrial Revolution, and in it they burned a lot of fossil-based fuels. That released carbon dioxide gas into the atmosphere, which when the sunlight shines on the Earth, it bounces off the surface. These energy particles bounce then off the carbon dioxide molecules and get reflected down to the ground as heat. It's kind of like when you put on a thicker blanket in your bed, you get warmer. Well, why is that? It's because your body is radiating heat.
Okay, do you
and
also
know? The blanket reflects that heat back down on you.
Do you also know
the same way?
Do you know what does carbon dioxide do as well? What it serves for?
Well, yes, because you can measure.
No. I'm asking you. What is the use of CO2?
CO2 is a component of fuel.
Yeah, but what is it used for?
How is it a byproduct? Is it output?
No, hold on.
Output.
What is an input to? What is it an input to?
What is it used for, Mike?
It was simply a waste gas.
Okay, so this is the reason why I like this question, because I have met many people that are actually able to understand how it works. But by asking this question, sometimes I understand what's your understanding of the actual cycle of nature. So CO2, you know, when you see these, how do you call it, winter houses or greenhouses, correct? When you're trying to grow plants, you create like a bubble in a space where you put all these plants, and then you inject CO2. Do you know why? Because CO2 is the food for plants. So when we're producing a lot of CO2, guess what happens in the world? We become greener. When we become greener and the world starts having more food, and we're able to feed more people. So all of this demonization of CO2 is ridiculous, because lowering the CO2 is just going to make us drier, and it's going to make us hotter.
No, that's false.
It is a cycle.
Did you ever see my chart? Look at this chart, and if you haven't seen it,
You're a retard.
This chart is
Make sure
one
that you
that
take a look
puts
at my
in
PTR
perspective
and
because it has enough data. It has enough of a wide view of a long-term
But did you understand what I told you right now? Are you able to make sense of what I told you now?
Yes, but problem is Issa. Is
the chart, Issa. The chart.
The biosphere, the plants in the biosphere cannot absorb enough of the carbon dioxide that's put in the air to lower the concentrations down enough that it would reduce the temperature increase.
Have you even opened the top?
Where is the best or the
This
biggest
has been
filter?
studied for like 50 years now.
Guys, wait.
The science is concluded. Everybody.
It's not concluded. Science is never concluded.
Yes, it is, Yakov. You are dead wrong, my friend.
No, I am not.
Reviews the science and he's done. There's
One sec.
no more science to be done.
One sec.
Yakov, it's like saying the
Go
world
ahead,
is
John.
flat. It's
Go ahead,
not.
John.
One sec.
No, it's not. Look, please
Guys,
open
guys,
the
guys,
top.
please,
John,
please,
go
please.
ahead, John.
So I just want to just ask a question to people that are combating Mike. I'm not agreeing with the way Mike's approach here with the name calling and stuff, but I have a general question. Have you guys not seen anything in your daily lives, like personally, where you've gone to places continuously over the course of your life, or just the way that you see people?
Evidence.
That's
One second.
Not
Before I go there,
science.
hold on. It's not necessarily anecdotal. It depends on how you all answer. Has there not been any changes that you've seen throughout your life of places that you go or how people operate in the world that have made you maybe question, like, okay, so maybe this is like actually happening? Has there been nothing like
I'm not saying climate change isn't happening. I'm saying that the conclusions we are being fed, that the whole world is going to like explode because of degrees of change in temperature, which may or may not happen naturally regardless of our actions, is overblown. Like, let's say,
Could be wrong.
I don't want to say what I know.
You're fucking wrong this time, you dumbass.
So,
God damn you.
can't survive a few changes in degrees of temperature.
You're so fucking stupid. You should have
The
faces
climate
smashed
is
in.
changing, and there are definitely there is
I
definitely
think his name's autistic or something. I mean, he's
No,
repeated
so
the exact same thing like 50
the
times.
climate is changing, and there is definitely some variation in the temperatures. Now we need to distinguish.
Look at the
here.
chart. You're so stupid.
I don't give a shit
You're
about
gonna
your
ruin
You have your face bashed in. We got it.
Anyway, so John.
Can you
John.
just take a
Anyway,
look?
John. So yeah, I will. 1 second. Now we need to distinguish here two different things. One is pollution, and the other one is climate change. I think that we have a hand in how polluted our world is, and yes, I agree with you. We need to get better at it, be cleaner, save the oceans, etc., etc. But linking the two and saying that it is men and human beings creating the climate change is absurd, because we are not that strong or that important. You're going to go to the audience until I am done.
You should have
So
your face bashed in.
we don't have the capability of actually affecting the change. Now, climate change is happening, as I was saying, but all of these are cycles that the Earth has gone for hundreds of thousands of years. We're focusing on the climate change narrative is focusing on the last 100, 200 years and quote-unquote demonstrating that the temperature has changed. Yes, it has changed, but I don't think it is true that it's human-made climate change. Now, do we need to get better at our resources and our management? Yes, of course, but that is not what is causing the climate change. And it's all cyclical. It's all cyclical.
How many millions in India and China will die with restrictive climate standards? How many? No one runs the numbers. They're just afraid of the weather.
John, there is, I don't know if you've read about the barley being found in regions like Iceland and all of there, because they were growing, not Iceland, it's the...
But Issa, you are
Antarctica,
dead
so
wrong.
you were, hold on, you find barley.
Absolutely wrong
Oh
about
my
that.
god.
You find barley all the way under the ice layers. This is proof that the climate has always been changing, that it goes in cycles. So yeah,
Sometimes we're talking about climate cooling. Sometimes we're talking about climate, global warming. So, because they didn't know what was going to happen, it's like, oh, it's cooling, it's warming. Oh, let's just call it climate change. And guess what? The climate changes all the time.
Isa, you don't think there's a connection at all with the amount of waste and garbage and plastic that we accumulate and the actual change in the climate?
Connection.
Right.
There is a connection in terms of the resources, but not necessarily in the sense that we are changing the climate of the earth.
Did you see the chart here? This chart is not fake. This is real. Okay, and you see the red line.
It's completely fake. If you look at my chart on my PTR, it's actually 100% real. I didn't draw this in one of my notes.
It is real. If you want to check the Hadcock research,
there's a frowny face on this chart.
You'll see that I'm right.
Oh, the link that you put, let me
fucking morons as the world burns around you, literally.
I think there's
No, you're right. The entire planet is engulfed in flames because of our carbon dioxide.
This science has been known for decades. Scientists have been warning as loud as
saying Alaska will be on fire.
Actually, I would suggest that you go.
But you just won't listen.
To the link.
You're so fucking goddamn stupid. You will just never listen to the fucking truth. No matter how
This is what it resorts to is name calling. This is when you
because you're dumb. What can you call a flat Earth person?
Well, you cannot argue.
If somebody wants to say the Earth is flat, how seriously can you take them when you're like building a space station or something?
Mike,
this is why this ignorance is now incredibly dangerous.
You're in this right.
Unfortunately, you've fallen for propaganda.
Humans have dramatic effects on the climate. We changed the composition of the atmosphere significantly.
Even if
Where the hell did you get your nonsense? You're a total fucking idiot.
You look at my chart. You didn't carry from Georgia Tech.
I'm sorry if you guys.
Even if I am wrong and you are right.
Misinformation is facts. I accept their vice versa. I'm sorry you guys are so
Let's say that I am wrong and you are right. What are you gonna do about it? You can't. You can't fix it, Mike.
He's gonna beat you up. No, he's gonna have someone get our.
I want to know what he's gonna do about it because there is no. There are no plans. There is no nothing. All of these are based on models. And actually, Jakob put this link on top of my head. And if you go in there, you will see the cyclical behavior of climate from the last 800,000 years. Not 100 years, 800,000 ones. So go and look for it. It's actually it's cooler than it's one of the cooler cycles that ever have happened.
So they're not serious when they say the solution is to impose higher taxes. So they don't talk about technical solutions. They don't talk about nuclear energy. They don't talk about ways to develop scientific and technical solutions. Their solution is always tax-based and more control over the citizens, their energy, and basically they're dooming developing countries to death because they will keep developing countries and their citizens in a state of continuous poverty that then they will say, well, we need more government to help these starving people. So it's just a total scam, the way this is manipulated.
All they can do is threaten to bash us in the face and say that we don't care about the problem when they have no solutions to the problem they just want to focus on. And by the way, glamorize. Literally, they say the entire earth is on fire. That's inane and stupid. If they had a proposal, I'd be interested. They don't. All they want to do is stop the businesses which are running to keep people alive and well because they might have some negative consequences. I know what their solutions would lead to. Deaths of India and China. I don't understand. We're just like, they're poor, but it's hot there. Let them die.
China.
I'd like to just present. I didn't get a chance through all the name calling. And I was trying to understand his background. to help understand just the veracity of his claims. Open up the chart on the top. In the 90s, Russians, there are approximately four stations in Antarctica, and they drilled down through the ice cores because every winter a new layer gets deposited on the ice cores, and you can use the compactness of the ice cores to understand the temperature at the time. So this is just one chart. There are several.
The temple being of darkness, the speaker ascended into his place. Let him begin by a ritual of the enterer as follows. Roll call. Roll call. Este Profani Balasti Ompeda. In the name of the mighty and terrible one, I proclaim that
We've up.
I'm dyslexic. I'll figure it out.
I know you. Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh.
You ain't dyslexic, Doc. You just slow.
Is that English? No, Doc is not dyslexic.
I am dyslexic.
Oh, I thought he was joking.
I was trying to wear it closer.
I am slow too.
Oh my God, Uncle, I just saw that.
You were just reading it.
Yes, I'm like, what the fuck? What is Lexapro?
Electing, people in the United States aren't electing, some sort of group of people that are kind of in the shadows. They're electing a president or vice president, and I think the next conductor, even if Biden does take a walk on the beach and come back and say I'm out, is the Kamala Harris factor. How do they deal with Kamala Harris? Because you can have there's all of these other people that they can look at, but Kamala Harris, because she's the vice president, it has to be at the top of the list for consideration. And it's a very awkward situation because it's not. A lot of people would argue, including me, that she would be the next worst option for the Democrats after Joe Biden. But there's a lot of politics that forces her to the top of the list. And it becomes uncomfortable to reject her in choosing someone else. I think third on the list is Newsom, and I don't know that the rest of the country wants a current governor of California who's, kind of a slick operator. I don't know how broad his appeal is in the rest of the country. But
listen, the rest of the country, doesn't want shit on their sidewalks or people walk into stores and shoplift. So I don't think he's going to be very.
Exactly. So they have to tread a little carefully about the pick if it's just the course they go down. But a reset in and of itself is better than whatever this is now.
RFK.
What's interesting is watch 5 minutes ago, the media was telling us that our lies were lying to us. And none of this is a secret. None of this should have come as a surprise to us last night. The problem is the media can't cover for him anymore. It was obvious. They were covering for him until 8 o'clock Central last night. And they can't cover for him anymore. That's what this all boils down to. They've been covering for him for years, if not months now. Can't cover for him anymore.
I think the Democratic Leadership Committee has done us all a disservice, honestly, not just to its party. As an independent voter who voted Democrats, I really feel strongly that they failed us. It's not individuals who pushed Biden. It's a culture. It's the DLC culture that marginalized Bernie Sanders and did all kinds of horrible things in the past. It's the Democratic Leadership Committee. That's what I pinned it to.
Yeah, Wasserman Schultz. I mean, it was a mistake to go with Joe Biden in 2020. I mean, I know he won Black Swan event. I think COVID had a lot to do with it. Didn't have to really run a campaign to kind of, everything was in the basement and on lockdown. So, but it was a Hail Mary, South Carolina primary, black women to the voters to the rescue that, saved the Democratic Party from the socialist hordes that they gave in the form of Bernie Sanders. And I think they lucked out in 2020 with COVID. But it's just this, like, they should have never gone with him again. I think Kamala Harris is a terrifying prospect. I don't think she can win. But I think there are others that they could choose that could beat Trump. I think there is that reset and momentum. But it means that they can't do a Zoom call in Chicago. They're going to have a dramatic, on the floor, in real person convention where they slug it out. And they might be slugging it out on the streets. I think it's going to be a very contentious and dramatic situation. But even with all the optics of that, it could be very exciting. And I think the fear of Trump is strong enough in a critical mass of the electorate that even with that potential clusterfuck of a convention, they can come out the other side with a new ballgame and water under the bridge, and everything changes for the last 2 months, which is, I think, exactly what the Democrats need, because they're in a death spiral, at least at the top. I mean, even before this debate, based on the polling, Trump was ahead, and I think Trump's been ahead since last fall. But it was starting to really solidify. I mean, Quinnipiac was even constantly had Biden ahead, and they had Trump up 4 points. This week, Rasmussen had him up 9 points. I know that's a bit of an outlier. Save the New York Post and Fox News, right-wing publications showing Biden ahead by 1 or 2 points. Everything else showed Trump out in front here, and it was like it's a question of like whether Virginia and Minnesota and New Hampshire flip Trump. Those are the swing states right now. I think the blue wall's gone.
So, Adam, let me jump in. Hold some of this. Let some other people respond to some of the points you've made. I'll start by saying that I don't know, whatever they can do at this point at the convention, I don't know how impactful it'll be, because frankly, it's hard for me to take the, democracy is on the line claims seriously for many reasons, but this one specifically that I think is important here is I don't think that they believe it, because why in the fuck would Joe Biden be the candidate if they actually believed that?
Also, if democracy is on the line, why would they have the presidential candidate selected by a committee rather than the American people?
Well,
because they're not necessarily divided that way. When you run on the floor, you get enough delegates. That's how you do that.
Oh yeah, but their entire. Okay, you can go.
I was actually just trying to answer your question, and everybody correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I understand, the Democrats have like this tradition that an incumbent president, nobody runs against him. It's not like a written rule, but it's more of like a respect that if we as a party don't believe in the president that was elected and we're going to go against them, then, that looks bad. So it's not that they didn't put anybody out there. It's kind of like the rules that they have, traditions. And I think
Katrina, this is the unbelievable thing that, like, I hear you, But in the same way that you were responding to people describing Biden's performance last night in ways that you didn't agree with, you responded by comparing him to Trump and talking about Trump. Like, it doesn't really matter what the traditions are when it comes to somebody who has the country. Hold on, but I mean, so like, I think everybody understands that incumbents generally aren't challenged. I don't even like. I don't know. I just don't even know why the fact that that's traditional would even.
I don't even know why you're still talking, bitch.
It just makes me
rambling
feel like
and
there is so
mumbling
much,
and using
like,
all kinds of
compensation
words
going
that
on
aren't
for
fucking
really
words
poor
like
decisions
and
made
like.
in the party. And listen, dude, the Republican Party is a hot fucking mess too. Like, the parties are never gonna. Oh, you're never gonna have a situation where only one party is in good shape. Like, they have to both be functional for the other one to be. But like, who gives a shit about their tradition?
Kelly, I totally agree with you. I'm not even like justifying it or saying it's right. I was just explaining it to Joe because I felt like he didn't know about that. That if an incumbent president decided, if Joe Biden said I'm gonna run, then
everybody knows that. That's like that's not just a thing with the Democrats. But fair enough.
Yeah, especially because like there's Democrats saying that we should just focus on democracy in the sense of moving at things like a popular vote, and that the entire system of delegates is corrupt. That's what they said when Bernie Sanders was losing against Hillary. Of course, this is not all Democrats, but if Gavin I'm not even assuming it's Gavin Newsom, if they replace Joe Biden, one, I wouldn't blame them because he's just completely out of it at this point. But I don't think most American people would be convinced that, okay, now it's all good, let's vote for the new guy they got in place, because they were so unimpressed by their candidate that they had to make a flip decision on the dime. I don't think it's going to work out for them.
But I also think the Democrats did a really, really poor job. I think what they were going off was Biden beat Trump, and he can beat him again. And I think that's where they put all of their eggs in their basket, because he beat him once, and you don't want to F that up. Yeah, I agree. That was a poor decision, honestly. I think all the Democrat candidates should have been able to have a debate, and I think Biden should have said, hey, screw the traditions. Yes, I am running, but I want other people to, run as well. Yeah, they did put all their eggs in the basket. I think that it was a mistake.
I agree. I think this filter, incumbency filter, should have been put at the party level. Biden should have debated other Democrats, just for that to serve as a filter to send somebody. This notion that incumbent and voting for the incumbent tradition, it's a culture. I mean, and that's fine, okay? Even if we admit that, we should have the wisdom, or the Democrats should have the wisdom to say, okay, yes, but this is age factor, and this is on Biden. This is really on Biden. We should have had a humility to step the heck out.
That's a really good point. I hadn't thought about it that way during the debates, right? This natural filter would have been good.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if we had an actual debate with the Democratic side, right? Let's just say we had, I don't know, let's just say Kamala Harris threw her hat in there, Gavin Newsom, Hakeem Jeffries, I don't know, somebody else, I think it would have been the wild horse that would have stand out the most.
But I still think you guys are missing the point that I made. Like, I get all of this, like, wish casting from the past. Man, I appreciate it. Like, I've sat around and wondered these same things. My point, though, was moving forward, if there is something to be done, how does the party gain from it? Like, listen, the loss of credibility, I think, is an understatement in many ways. Or basically more wish casting other ways. I think some people, it would take far more than this for them to lose faith in their party, and that goes for both of them. But my point is that these claims about democracy being on the line and Donald Trump being the worst possible thing, it's really hard for people who aren't on one side or the other to even think that anyone in the Democratic Party believes that, considering what we've all acknowledged for a long time. There are a whole lot of people on the left who I don't know if it's genuine ignorance or some sort of mental trick that they play. I don't know why they pretend like they've never seen this, but most people have noticed it and they've been scolded for pointing it out. And so those people are going to have a hard time believing
because of clowns who get milkshakes
in the party didn't know that what we have obviously seen, regardless of what we want to say the source of it is, has not been happening. And so if in fact that's the thing that people believe, you can't square that with Democrats then saying that Donald Trump is the biggest threat to democracy. If he were the biggest threat to democracy, you would have run a candidate that people aren't saying shit himself at.
I think if they had a Democrat open primary and let's say Biden won by, luck, whatever, people found him preferable, you're basically saying, we don't trust you, we don't believe in you, but you're the best we got, and it would have undermined his credibility to a lot of the people who aren't just hardcore Democrats. I don't see how an open primary against an incumbent sends any message other than we don't believe you're going to win.
But look, go back to the Dean Phillips thing. Before Dean Phillips ran, he tried to get any Democrat to raise their hand to run, and they basically turned on him and said, no, this is the wrong approach. Don't do that. He had talked to Gavin Newsom, got to know. Kamala Harris got to know. Vince Whitmer. The list goes on, and they all said no. They said that he was loyal. And so then he said, okay, I'm probably not the best person to do this, but somebody's got to provide an alternative, and Phillips did. And Democrats turned their back on him. And again, now, after what we see, Dean Phillips was correct. Joe Biden is trying to do this thing. Forget about whether we like his policies, don't like his policies. We now know that not only Republicans and independents believe this, but now Democrats believe that Biden is evil. And I can't imagine that it had to be until last night they woke up and said that. They operate in this weird, shitty way. I would have to imagine our brokers and communities, they do have a backup plan. It'll be very interesting to see what happens between now and the convention and at the convention. Because here's the one thing to keep in mind. Joe Biden is not officially the Democratic nominee. That is not official. It doesn't become official until August 22nd, which is when they wrap up the convention.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. Good one.
Go ahead, Marshall. No, go ahead, Marshall. I want to hear you.
It's okay, man. We're one ear and out the other. When I was making up the back,
I'm just saying, okay, so Biden is not going to win the Democratic vote or the Democratic, how would I say, selection. Nomination. Thank you. At the conference. At the convention. Maybe I'm just as old as he is.
I was going to say, what people that convention of electing the officers. Officers and platforms is what they do. And so that would be when they would confirm him as their nominee.
Okay, so if they confirm him as their nominee, run for the hills. Right? What does that tell you? after last night's performance. What does that tell you?
If they're planning on stealing the election?
They're planning on stealing the election.
But
the vote is rigged.
But it's an important if he doesn't, if he's defiant and he sticks with it, that it's, he kind of forces their hand. If they're not, if they don't want to do an open revolt like that.
No, but he doesn't get to choose. Biden doesn't decide whether or not the Democratic Party decides to put him up. It's the party, right? Like, look, the guy's done. He is done.
And they're pledged to him.
Well, he's done. What kind of pledge do you have to a guy who can't remember your name?
Just to like get him place to place. If he had only come out sounding like the Deacon State of the Union, he would have been much better received. But God forbid that I can do that. It's also a little puzzling. He knows music was important, and so I don't understand why he did not come pumped for that. Maybe he just thought he didn't have to.
No, he's done, Marshall.
That looks like the drone in this footage just packed in.
That was his best. He's done.
That's so sad.
I know.
Where's I want to hear from like Suga, Biden, or Aram, or some of these deep Biden guys, or deep Democrat guys.
Yeah,
where they are.
I mean, I guess, do you think Obama would see the show kind of like wake up and kind of like show with Brexit?
She would, but Kim Crooked has no interest in running for office.
Although she might not have interest, she might be required. She might not have no interest. She might be like, look, you've been drafted. Non-presidential recall.
I don't think she would be a problem. I don't. But that's the only saving grace. She doesn't know what she wants. But, you know what? Who says that some of them is not love your country and love your country. Country needs you to run for office.
If the party poses the candidate that people were she would absolutely destroy Trump.
I don't think
She would.
I don't think she would.
What makes you guys think that so easily?
I think. Wait. Think which part?
That Michelle would destroy Trump if they consider going into this.
Let's investigate that. I don't know if the word destroy. I don't even know if we need to destroy.
I think she has potential.
But I think, I think she definitely has potential. I think she has the right. And I'm going to be a little bit dramatic here. I think she has what America needs right now, which is a responsible adult.
Sir, I am unhappy to report rumors, sir. When the train goes to our destination.
She will galvanize.
Shut your trap and make way.
That bottom of those of us in need. Whether you're a veteran, whether you're a person of color, whether you're it's South Salt, whatever you do. I think she can represent that, and she can be presidential in geopolitical issues. Well, she'll get all the Democrats to vote for her. That's a risk.
I don't know.
Right, am I okay?
Yeah, but Hillary, let's take this way. Democratic Party put their best candidate up, right? You're not going to put a candidate that you're not going to win, so you can't put a Biden, right? You can't put a Harris, right? Okay, so let's just remove the conversation, and if the DNC doesn't see it that way, if for some reason the DNC does put a Biden or does put a Harris, that's unsafe, I suppose.
that's the one they're going to have to sell them on. Because, period. Because his wife could sit down with her husband and go, hey, you're not running for office. Yes, I am. No, you're not. Well, what, are you going to stop me? Yes, I am. Well, if you, I will have to.
It's going to be her together.
Right, did you see that they had a rally after? They had a rally after, and she was just running riot, and like she was puffing them up, and she was just. It seems like she still wants to continue. But I think for Michelle Obama, the campaign motto, what she runs on is Save America.
Bruno recently had his Los Angeles premiere in celebration of the completion of his movie, which hits theaters this weekend. Bruno has been very much anticipated, and people wonder if Sacha Baron Cohen can dupe them all over again. Bruno talked about the craziest thing that happened to him during filming.
Well, we're waiting to like Syria, Palestine, Jordan, it's a whole of the Middle Earth. But it was like absolutely terrifying because,
she's not like
because there's absolutely no sushi anywhere. It's like, it's just awesome pizza. And also the fashion choices are dreadful. It's not surprising to make people live. If I opened up my closet and all I saw was like a black cloth with some sandals, it should blow myself up too.
Cohen, as Bruno, was asked if he ever was scared for his life during the filming.
Black people back into
yeah,
the
Felicia actually got arrested in Milan. She was in jail for a couple of days. Normally when I'm led away by 12 guys dressed as policemen, it's like a birthday treat. This was very different. Inside the conditions were overgross. It was like an Italian apple plane. But the crowd was being a fun pyramid.
The film features cameos by Slash, Sting, Bono, Snoop Dogg, Elton John, and Chris Martin of Coldplay.
I also think if Kamala Harris was to say, okay, I'm not going to run and I don't even want to be the VP, but if you win this thing, I need to be Attorney General, I'll do that, I'll take one for the team. Then you present a whole new team, whether it's Michelle, whoever it's going to be. The thing that you're going to have to do is forget about like what the nation thinks. Forget about what that means in terms of overall popular vote. Which states Democrats are going to lock up, even if they had delegates. So what they have to do is they have to crunch the numbers and figure out which candidate would be best in those battleground states. And to be quite honest, I don't know. You'd have to look at the data. I don't know if it's obvious who would be able to do that. Josh Hawley's like a rising star within the Democratic Party. I don't think he would play well based on the fact that Democrats in some of the battleground states that need to be won are the same cranky Democrats that don't like Biden's position when it comes to Israel. And so there's a lot of things that you have to weigh into this, and it's not just simply the sentiment of this person is popular nationally. That's just not how this election is going to be won.
I hear you, but I mean, Barack Obama won Iowa twice. He won out in September 2008.
I left for Milan Fashion Week to shoot.
Picked up on that and campaigned hard, and he won. The nomination for the general seat, but he won beyond that. And I think Michelle I think Michelle brings Georgia back into play. When she brings Georgia back into play, and she reinforces the blue ball, that's it. He won. He went Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Here's my question: is a serious question.
So I decided instead to go to Los Angeles to become a celebrity.
What does Michelle Obama have to offer this country?
It was going to be
she has nothing. She has no
Austrian superstar.
She has zero. She is a first lady. At least her people bring politics to the table, a record to the table. She brings nothing except being married to him. That's it. I think that the American people are a little bit more smarter than that. I really do.
You're overlooking. Matt, hold on, real quick. The thing that, Matt, you're overlooking is that the reason
why he got Trump in the first place is the Democrats were stupid enough to run Hillary Clinton. She's the most unlikable woman in the history of American politics.
I disagree, Matt. If you're gonna put in Michelle Obama, like what's on her resume? She bore Barack Obama's children, assumably. So that's all we're gonna have. She was on the campaign stage with Obama during his 2 terms, and she made some political interviews where she said this is the first time she's proud of her country when her husband was elected. That's, I guess, some people, a lot of Democrats would vote for her on a dime, no doubt. But to assume that it's going to be 2008 all over again, like she's going to win Ohio and Iowa. Georgia might be in play, maybe. I don't think it's going to change people's thoughts in Arizona. Maybe not Nevada. Yeah, I don't see how this is going to be like the 3-point shot that the Democrats.
I disagree. I disagree with you, Matt. With this notion that that Michelle Obama she got nothing. She had a life before the elections, and she had skills and she had credentials. More importantly, she has women. Hold on. More importantly,
she also has a dick.
Hold on. Let's not degrade. I gladly shut up if you want to degrade this. I'll gladly be quiet and listen. She has the woman vote, and it's significant. It's a huge. Not only that, she will also bring in having the woman vote. She'll bring in the young people's vote. The young people have nothing right now. The young people are faced with global climate change, potential conflict, etc., economic sort of issues. Somebody has to bring them. And when I said I see potential, I really see potential. And don't dismiss her simply because she hasn't held a position or a post during her husband's presidency. That's sexist.
No, but hold on, everybody stop. Everyone stop. Hold on, guys, listen. There are people that haven't even spoken that are trying to get in. I'm glad Ishmael was finally able to get in. He was trying for a while. Listen, if you've said a lot, Matt, or lots of other people, just take a second, let some of these other people get in. But I'm just going to say this as a woman. I am so sick of people calling things sexist that aren't sexist. It's not sexist. Like, a lot of people are fucking pissed off that we elected Donald Trump, who had not been a politician before, right? But he did have a career that people could acknowledge. He was well known for what he had done. Nobody knows anything. I mean, I'm sure some people know what she did before Obama was in office, but she is known as the First Lady. So to pretend like that is sexist, for people to point that out, is ridiculous. And also to assume that she'd lock up the female vote because I guess we're women. I think that's silly. I don't know what she would bring to the table. And the question was asked of you, and you couldn't even tell us. You just called us sexist. But I think, Christine, you.
Yeah, I think actually them nominating her, I don't think she'll win. I think it actually would be worse for women. You mean to tell me? I mean, thinking about Hillary, it was always put out there that she was riding on the coattails of her husband.
But look, this is a war that never should have started. If we had a leader in this war, he led everybody along. He's given 200.
She did work in the cabinet. To say, like, Ishmael, I'm like really astounded that you're saying that, because we have so many women in this country that have ran for office, worked hard to get there. To me, to nominate a woman after the Hillary Clinton situation as First Lady, with no record of elected office, and I understand Trump did hold an office, I think it sets back all women politicians. Why is there not somebody we could pick from the dozens and dozens of women in this country that worked hard to be elected to office? That's astounding to me. I think she's actually not a good candidate at all. And I don't think she would even accept it anyway. But that's all I want to say, is that there's other women politicians who have actually worked to get to that spot, and they should be on the list.
Good point. In March 2024, Michelle Obama declined that she would be running for office. So that's as of March 2024. But Christine, I would ask you, yes, we should find someone who has been working their way through the political machina, but who? Why is it so hard that we cannot find that person?
So is it more about famous people?
Well, yeah, the people.
Joe Biden replaced
It's not that it's that hard. It's the people people don't do it. I mean, there are plenty of people.
Because they aren't famous yet.
As it stands right now, I think Michelle Obama, all things considered, would be their best hope and best chance. I think that it would be implied that her husband would also be a part of the package. He has 8 years experience being the president. It would be implied that he would help her along the way, that he would help her navigate. Like he's coming along as part of the package. It's pretty crystal clear. That's the implication. This is not rocket science. They have the name recognition. She's an accomplished woman in her own right. It's not a prerequisite that you have to have political experience. This is a logical thing. Name recognition. Look at W. He's a decent man, but he's not, he didn't set the world on fire.
Arthur Washington, across the
Business acumen or his political acumen. It's name recognition among the American people. That's it. She's got that. And, if her credentials academically speaks to her being, having the ability to adapt.
So what is that call? Who's making the call right now? Who's talking to her? She is in her home, wherever it is right now, right? Who is calling her and saying, we are asking you respectfully for you to throw your name in the hat? Who's doing that phone call right now?
Whoever doesn't want Gavin Newsom.
What was that, Anthony?
Whoever doesn't want Gavin.
Look at her ages. Some of her recent videos are so detailed, it does make me question gender.
There are movers and shakers in the Democratic Party.
Who runs the DNC?
Pelosi's, the Chuck Schumers, the Pelosi's, the Barack Obama, the top flight Democrats that have some gravitas in the party that could potentially sway Joe Biden. Those are the people that I think would.
These egos are being bruised this morning, right? Because you're right, Pelosi, Schumer, and whoever else are on a Zoom call right now, hashing it out, aren't they?
That's what I think. Last night, I don't think they went to bed. Let's face it, it's the big money donors. If I'm donating tens of millions of dollars to the DNC, you bet your ass they're taking my phone call right now. And that's what it all boils down to. And they also, and I'll end here,
supplies.
They also could just say, you know what, chalk this up to a fucking loss and focus on.
I gotta go to the store to get a spray bottle. Do you need anything?
Can I?
Can you give me something? Matt, can you give me something?
So I have this chick.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
One second.
Hold the fuck on!
I just want to fucking apologize to Matt because I clarified that.
Ishmael, I'll bring you back up. But in all honesty, dude, a hold on means hold on. I don't care how badly you want to apologize. I don't care if it's to save Matt's life. I know I put in the chat, I'm glad he didn't die from his UTI, but I mean, let's be honest, this is just an app. I was flashing my mic. Can we have a cue, or is it still popcorn? Can we let Matt, was it Matt that was speaking? There was someone speaking.
I was just saying that.
And hold on, this is what I wanted to say before Ishmael wouldn't stop talking. Obviously, Marvin's mic was accidentally unmuted. We don't need a million people jumping in and creating more chaos. Please, if you guys could stop doing that, it would be great. But go ahead.
I would just say is that the last part of that is that they could also just throw in the towel
we pull on that string a little bit? Because that's very interesting. So the Republican Party is definitely going to look very different post-Trump. Does anyone think the Democrats will do better if post-Trump is while Trump's in office?
I don't know, but I just want to quickly say about the Michelle Obama thing. I think this whole eat the rich and anti-elite movement that Trump feeds off of, even though he's like the richest president, that would eat Michelle Obama up because she's just tied to elitism and, you know, Harvard being the first wife. It would just, I think Trump would probably like be able to kind of destroy her with that movement. She kind of represents elitism. I don't know. I feel like Anthony. No, I love Michelle. Like I have her book. Believe me, like I love Michelle Obama. I'm just saying, like the whole eat the rich movement would be what he like. I think he would feed off of it. That's my problem. But I think he would do the same with Gavin. Gavin also represents California elite. You know, I'm going to the Hamptons on the weekend type vibe. That is a vibe that Trump will destroy. Like you get my point, right? Even though like Michelle Obama came from the South Side, like I have her book. I know she came from the South Side, worked hard. She represents the American dream of pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Like she represents it to the T, more than even her husband did. But I don't know. I think that's what he might work on because that's what he did to Hillary. That's all. Thank you.
So this is a conversation that they are probably having, and they probably had last night. And I don't necessarily agree with 100% with what you said about Michelle, but I do about Gavin. And that's why I'm saying, like, whoever is actually looking at who has a chance to win, I do not think that they're actually looking at Gavin, but there are elitists who are looking at Gavin, and Trump would take full advantage.
Michelle narrative.
Flash my mic. Okay, never mind. Can I just have it go for a second? I was really trying to be
So
respectful.
here's the thing. Okay, so flashing your mind, all of that stuff, that's not really how we do it. So if I don't hear people trying to jump in, I don't know to eventually like try to help you. Ishmael was about to get in because he was trying and people were ignoring him, but nobody is being ushered into the conversation. So you guys, I think you heard that Katrina wanted to jump in, but Katrina also, I don't think Kyle has spoken yet. There's some people that haven't spoken.
TBS, who want Michelle?
It's kind of a doggy-dog world in the room, but we will make sure that people eventually get to speak. But we're definitely not going to do a queue. It ruins the conversation. A and B, it's just too much down.
That's fine. I was just trying to be respectful and not cut anybody off, and not dominate the stage. But I've been meaning to say this for. Sorry, I was busy with my son and I was hearing you guys, but we pointed out that Biden was very different during the oh my God, what is it? The address, right? The State of the Union address. Has anybody thought that his performance was on purpose? His weak performance? Because we talked about how if the Democratic Party doesn't support him, then that looks like they don't believe in him and all this other stuff. It's going to look bad.
Just bad takes.
But, and then we have those gung-ho Biden voters that won't vote for any other Democratic nominee besides Biden. So in order to naturally for them to not vote for him, we see the reaction.
Katrina, with all due respect, I don't know a single Democrat voter, personally or otherwise, who would say it's Biden or bust. I don't know a single one. If they replace a Democrat presidential nominee, almost 100% of Democrat voters would have no mind in switching, including the ones who have the Biden-Harris lawn sign. I don't know a single Democrat that would be opposed to that. I don't think this is them, calling an audible to say we need to convince these guys that Biden's not the fit. Biden just isn't the fit. There's nothing else to it. It's just we're a lot of people knew it before, and now we're dealing with the fact head on, and a lot of people were in denial, but they can't deny it anymore.
The idea that this has been a plan all along, one said, Mayor, and then it's all you. I just want to throw this out there. I keep seeing it in the chat. The idea that this has been a plan all along, also, I mean, I'm sure that they might have some contingency plan, but I mean, they had the perfect way in which to get Biden to just step down. I mean, probably either getting Jill to do it, but they had Hunter. They could have held Hunter over. There's so many ways that they could have prevented this if, in fact, this was their plan all along. So I just don't buy that. But sorry.
No, it's simply there's no way that this was planned. This is not like good for the Democrat Party any which way. The only thing I heard, and Michelle Obama is not going to take over. As much as people talk about the Obama era, the party has moved on. They do not like his policies. They do not like his don't ask, don't tell. They don't even like Obamacare. They want single payer. Like there's none of his policies can be brought back. They don't want that back in the spotlight. He's more of a cartoon at this point. So I don't see Michelle coming in at all. But if the only thing I heard in this room, which is really interesting, is now that we're here, are the Democrats just going to focus on controlling the houses and possibly a post-RNC with Trump in office is worse than if giving the RNC 4 years to regroup for 2028.
Well, one thing I will say is that sometimes a person's cognitive abilities can't necessarily be planned, but once there's a change, the people around that person have to adapt. So maybe this is actually taken place, perhaps, and possibly what you said would allow people in the team or the party to unattach from Biden and be open to another candidate. But I don't know if it was.
See, I don't think this was planned at all, but I really wonder who told Biden it would be a good idea to have this debate. Like, I'm really curious as to what the conversations were behind the scenes. Like, whose game plan was this? I don't understand.
He had no choice. He was losing. He had no choice.
Yeah, but I think you go from losing to lost. Like you go from
it was a do or die. It was
getting replaced.
Yeah, it was do or die. Meaning he was losing.
I think
but had he won the debate, then he'd be back in the game. So it was like the final. It was do or die, and he died.
Well, very pass.
Yeah, I think that there was an opportunity to let Trump implode. I think that there was, positives and negatives that came out of the felony conviction. But I definitely know that it hit him in the polls, the felony conviction. Yeah, it helped him with the fundraising. There are negatives and positives that came out of it. But, if you sit by the river long enough, the bodies of your enemies will come floating by. Sometimes the best move is no move. Like,
Well, that's the part we're not discussing. Trump did well. Trump could have imploded last night just as much as Biden did, and that didn't happen. If you remember the way Biden challenged the debate, he said, "I hear you're free on Wednesdays." He was teasing him about the felony. He brought up the felony. This could have gone very differently. This was a do or die if Biden died. But if Trump would have gone crazy like the first debate in 2020, and he would have lost it, and Biden would have been able to hold it together for 90 minutes and just kept pointing at that guy, we'd have to get two different conversations this morning. So at this point, to say why did he even do it? I mean, it could have gone very differently.
So I think there's also hold on, Anthony. This is to you. This is in response to your question. Like, I think everything Mayor said is true, but also, I mean, we can't say that Biden is suffering cognitively or has all of these issues, and then also assume that he's the one making all of these decisions by himself, or that nothing else is happening in the background. It doesn't mean that it was planned in the long term. And the fact that this debate happened at the date that it happened is significant because they haven't had their convention.
Kelly, and that's why, I think you're so smart, and I think you're astute, and I don't think it was an accident. I do think that there are people that have legitimate concerns that would say, hey, look, go ahead, take your shot. We need this. And, conspiracy theorist, but I don't think this was an accident. Like, this was really, really bad. Like, this was nail in the coffin bad. This is
when you say accident versus planned, I guess what it is that I'm saying is something in the middle. Like, every time people say planned, I think that this is like some long game that they're talking about. I don't think that they thought that Biden's mental health would have been the challenge that it's been, because I don't think that they thought that all of these charges against Trump were going to backfire to the degree that they did. So I do think, I'm sure this date probably wasn't just arbitrarily selected, but I don't think this is a long game. Like, I think if anything, it's
Okay, my turn. First, Matt, I really apologize. I didn't mean for you. Just want to say that sounds sexist. I really meant to remark. And for all that matter, I can look at Katrina's comment and say, oh, that's internalized, because that's what my daughter would say anyway. Gosh, I mean, we're the whole thing with Michelle Obama is a hypothetical situation. We're a nation of disengaged electorate. We're a nation of amnesiacs in our creativity these days. The world is really kind of simmering on the verge of potentially more trouble. And we have basically two candidates that are, neither one of them is appealing to any one of us. So, I look at that and say, geez, what is the solution? I mean, is there somebody else with potential like Michelle Obama who might be? I can't really think of Gavin Newsom as someone because, he's partisan. He's going to be viewed by the other side and people who are kind of sitting on the aisle waiting as partisan. So I don't really think that he can pull it. Is there anybody else? Can we think of anybody else?
So
Thanks, Matt.
To your point, right? In the last 4 years, I would argue the two seminal biggest events is the war in Ukraine and October 7th. Those are the two blockbusters and worldwide, in my opinion. So neither of those things happened under the previous president's watch. For all the talk of him being, a puppet of Putin and, Putin, having control of him, Manchurian candidate and all of that stuff, Putin did not attack on this is a point he pointed out last night. He did not attack on his watch. The Hamas did not attack on his watch. There's a reason these things happened in the current administration. So, I don't know, when we start talking about stuff going on in the world, I think that there's one candidate that really has the potential to kind of bring a little bit more calm to what's going on. Honestly, he's a wild card. We can't call it. We cannot call it. We don't know. No one knows what this dude would do given certain scenarios. And that, even the whole thing with the, pushing NATO, the allies to chip in more. They legitimately were worried that he would leave NATO because he's that kind of wild card. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they've also been asking for that for presidency, I think.
Yeah, the thing is, you're right, Anthony, but the thing is, now that those conflicts did happen, you're right, it happened under Democrats. Trump did say in the interview he did with CNN that, he said it, basically he said that he would, kind of give Ukraine, because he said that he would settle it in a day, and the girl kept asking him, the journalist, oh, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? And he kind of, it was basically insinuated that he would, leave Ukraine up to Russia. So I don't know, in terms of that. And with Biden, he's been very supportive with Israel. So who knows what Trump, because the whole America First thing is kind of like a hands-off thing. And I don't know, that would work before a conflict. What would happen during the conflict? Would it mean hands off and then let them handle it the way they want, and then that can go either way? Like, what do you, Auntie, what do you think about that? Like,
so to your point, right? Like, honestly, right? If we're just being honest, I couldn't agree with Trump more as it relates to Ukraine. Biden's point is that Putin has bigger goals. He's not going to stop at Ukraine. It's going to be Poland next. Come on now. They barely handled Ukraine. You think they're going to Poland? A NATO country? Where? How? It's complete unmitigated BS. It's not true. It's nonsense. It's illogical. He said it multiple times last night, and it's fear-mongering at the worst. The worst type of fear-mongering.
Do you trust Putin? Because the thing is, like, we don't know if he's bluffing. It's all up to you.
I don't trust anybody. I talk about capabilities, man. Forget trust. I want to talk about what's possible.
Sorry, just real quick. I just really want to and I'll mute up. I'll post it in the chat, Anthony. But there's an interview I really was I'm not a MAGA, but I don't support Trump or MAGA or anything. I'm Canadian. But anyways, I watched the video of Trump on Oprah's show, and this was filmed in the 80s. And he literally said identical things to his foreign policy as now. He said the rest of NATO need to put up their money. He said that we don't need to be involved in all these wars. He was saying this in the 80s, and the people in the crowd were cheering him. And that was obviously an American crowd. It's on Oprah. Everyone seemed to like him. What changed? I don't understand. He's saying the same things as he said back then. I'll post it in the chat. And back then he said he would have Oprah as his running mate. Really funny, but he used to be a Democrat, I guess. But anyways, yeah, he had the same consistent arguments. That's why I actually think that it's really interesting that everyone changed now. He said the same things back then with NATO and his foreign policy. I'll post it in the chat. Thanks.
Both? I think you're about to go, brother.
Yeah, I just want to add to points of Tony. Like, people may not know this, but Poland is the strongest country in terms of the military capacity. Like in the whole Europe, the NATO alliance, I think it's even stronger than Turkey. So to attack Poland is not an easy task. I just want to add that to the point of the Anthony making. So.
Thank you, brother. I couldn't agree with you more, man. Like, I think that it's just fear-mongering, and I think that, like, for a variety of reasons, and you could go down the conspiracy rabbit hole as to why, Biden has such full-throated support of Ukraine. Like, why? Why? Like, let Putin and them square that up, figure that out, work it out. Ukraine is not part of NATO. We don't have a responsibility to them. It's fine. Let them work that situation out. We could argue about how this conflict started till the cows come home. I personally think that it would not have happened if Zelensky had done certain things. But he didn't. And here we are. So now that this is where we're at, I'm not opposed to the United States backing off our support. I really am not. It's not anything I would lose sleep over. If it's gonna end the conflict and we can move forward, let's end the conflict and before things spill out, before there's some tragic situation that really requires our attention and we have to, really get more involved. That's that. The Middle East situation, it's too much of a hot button topic. So I'll leave that alone for now.
I wanna just go two more things though. Like, one is, I think the way things are going with so much conflict, I'm afraid that this becomes a nuclear conflict. I'm talking about this sense Nancy Pelosi went to Taiwan. That even America did to push war into the world. The other thing I want to add is this: a leader. I'm in Europe. The image of America as a country in Europe
This all sounds like rhetoric from people that want to see America lose power and Russia and China gain power.
Okay, I will try to say something to that. I agree with you. I agree with your concern. Sorry, I don't agree with your concern. But pushing Russia towards China and pushing China towards Russia and pushing Russia towards North Korea, all these actions, the West does not acknowledge Taiwan as a country. Go to Wikipedia and look for Taiwan. The West does not acknowledge Taiwan as a country. And it's playing this dual game. Look, I want America strong. I think a strong America for the world is better. I think the world is a much better place because of the West. I think the United States brought safety to navigation. It made the world a better place. But since the year 2001, I see the West as a country, as a state, making mistakes that are going to make them weaker. How many wars can you manage? How many wars can you join?
This is a bunch of propaganda.
So why should Nancy Pelosi not have gone to Taiwan?
Excuse me?
Why should Nancy Pelosi have not gone to Taiwan? It's not like she made a speech there in which she recognized it as a country. Why do you have an issue with her going there in the first place?
I think because it gives incentives to Xi Jinping. I believe Xi Jinping has the plan to annex Taiwan back into China. I believe that is part of his plan. However, I also believe there's a stage in which that can happen. Maybe 8 years from now, 7 years from now, because it needs to first extract soft power. But when the US start to make this approach towards Taiwan, it may push things to move on sooner. And my question is, I'm not an American, but I do respect America to be the strongest nation, and the world is a better place because of America. However, my question is, how many balls can you juggle? How many wars can you fight before you spread yourself too thin? And I think in the position that America is, most kingdoms that collapse is because of arrogance. And I think the US, as a state, is behaving a little bit too arrogant. And I think this conflagration with Ukraine, the greatest winner is China. US is depleting the army, is depleting their weapons to save a country that has no strategic benefit for the US. And Xi Jinping is looking at US becoming weaker. Since the year 2001, the US is in constant war. How many wars can you manage? And how long can you be at war without becoming weaker? It's a question that I have. I'm not saying getting weaker. It's simply a question.
Hey, Kyle, man, I don't want to get that. Hey, Kyle,
Humidity is baked into America.
What do you not want me to feel? Why don't you just actually stick to
Hold on, Kyle, listen. Kyle, Anthony, everybody on this stage could disagree with Anthony, but he is coming with nothing but respect. So regardless of what it is that you think you're not going to appreciate, please just give him the same respect back.
So speak about your own feelings then, Anthony.
You weren't responding to Anthony. He was responding to both. Sorry.
Yep. So Kyle, it's all good, bro. I'm not looking to be argumentative. I'm not trying to win a fight, right? I want a strong America, all right? I feel like when you have someone like Henry Kissinger at the outset of the situation in Ukraine saying Russia is going to get something. They are going to get something. They're not going to suffer all the loss that they've suffered. They're not the resources that have been spent and not walk away with something. So it's a given, and the potential for some unintended consequence as a result.
Somebody, but I hate to admit that I usually think you're like.
Oh, it's the date. Okay, this is the Tiffany Southerly meditation and yoga class. This is Tiffany.
Feeling. And I said, they ought to have some.
Okay, so this is called the Book of the Law, and Libra 777. This is Aleister Crowley. So this is chapter 2. New, the hiding have had it. Come, all ye, and learn the secret that hath not yet been revealed. I had it, am the complement of new, my bride. I am not extended, and Cobbs is the name of my house. Okay, everybody, welcome to Republican Chicago. This is Rumble. This is my first time creating a Rumble video, so thank you for being here. You can see I'm live streaming myself across about 15 different cell phones. We vote Trump, we vote Republican. If we can't vote Trump, we can't vote Republican, we'll vote for Kennedy. It's just me. If Trump could be president and Kennedy could be vice president and then Kennedy could become president, I mean, that's the ship we need to write. 8 years of pragmatism, 8 years of paying down the debt and getting the financial ship righted, and then eventually getting rid of the Federal Reserve and all the Fugazi congressional amendments.
So thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed.
We're seeing such anger in our nation, as I said, you're in a circumstance where 400,000 people just to make ends meet for many older Americans. I took care of the seniors. What he's doing is the most extensive climate change legislation in history. Percent unemployment. He provided you have to take out student loans that were polluting, and if they were cut case and you'd be wiped out. Only because he can't win fair and square.
That said, I'm coming right to you, sir.
You denounce the people we're talking about now? Portland, when they rip down, feel it. And it's coming through very.
Has collapsed, disintegrated. Joe Biden is clearly a man in decline. He is in a campaign in decline. Unfortunately, he is leading a country in decline. So if we want to restore hope and promise back to people, we've got to get President Trump back in the White House. And the best way to get the Trump policies is President Trump. Joe Biden didn't look like a man who was in command of the country or the facts or his own campaign or the debate. And this is after Joe Biden retreated to a log cabin in the woods for a week to get constantly drilled. Meanwhile, President Trump was out on the road, campaigning in swing states, carrying his message directly to the voters. America deserves an energetic president. We get that in President Trump, and with President Biden, it's more like a silver alert than an energetic president.
Representative Nate Jesse with 11 Alive News here in Atlanta. This is a swing state. There are 8% undecided voters, right? A lot of those voters that I talked to say, I'm not showing up anyway. I'm going to stay home. Did this performance tonight convince these voters here in Georgia to come out and vote for your candidate?
That's a great point. President Trump will secure the border, he will save our economy, he will restore our standing in the world, and he will end the wars. I think that's what voters want in both political parties. And no matter what Joe Biden's campaign says, you saw a man who cannot execute on anything. He cannot execute on presidential vision. He could barely execute pre-planned, pre-canned lines in the debate. So I would encourage folks here in Georgia, if you want to see these interest rates come down, if you want to be able to buy a home, if you want your place of work to be growing and not contracting, you need to get out and vote for President Trump.
Earlier today, we talked to Governor Brian Kemp, and I asked him, hey, look, there are people who might like Trump's policies, but they do not like him. They don't like his character. They don't like what he represents. They don't feel like it's a person that their kids can look up to. How can he get around his character flaws that some people feel like he has?
I saw someone on stage tonight displaying a focus and a seriousness that ought to really reassure those voters, reassure them that he's going to fight for them. President Trump's policies improved quality of life for people. Even people who didn't agree with him saw bigger paychecks, they saw cheaper gas, they saw their purchasing power go farther at the grocery store and when they were paying for electricity. And so you don't have to like President Trump to vote for him.
You just about things that you don't like, though?
Well, you just have to like yourself. If voters care about their own economic conditions, their own safety, their own hope for a better future for the country, then they should vote for President Trump. Thank you.
For young voters, what?
Joe Biden. I got him earlier, but we didn't get him posed. What's over there?
Chicago's top police officials ahead of this weekend's Pride Parade. The annual event, now in its 53rd year, is a celebration on the streets of Lakeview. CBS 2's Marissa Perlman is live where the Pride Parade will have a new start time, a different route, and a smaller number of floats. Good morning, Marissa.
Good morning to you, Ryan. That's right. Tens of thousands of people are expected to pack the parade route this coming Sunday. Those changes were
Democrat Josh Shapiro, who is here on behalf of the Biden campaign. Governor, always great to see you. I'm going to read you a quote, which I'm sure you have either seen or heard maybe a dozen times already this morning. It's from columnist Thomas Friedman of the New York Times. The Biden family and political team must gather quickly and have the hardest conversations with the president, a conversation of love and clarity and resolve. We can put this up on the screen, I think. To give America the greatest shot possible of deterring the Trump threat in November, the president has to come forward and declare that he will not be running for re-election and is releasing all of his delegates for the Democratic National Convention. Your reaction?
Look, I hadn't seen Tom Friedman's column until you read it. Here's the bottom line. Joe Biden had a bad debate night, but Donald Trump was a bad president. And I think what you saw last night was a pathological liar in Donald Trump who lied about his record, who has dangerous ideas about where he wants to take this country. I'll be the first to admit that was not a good look in that debate last night. But it doesn't change the fact that there are really stark competing differences in this race. And I think what the American people have to do now is make a decision. Do we want to go back to a dark time that Donald Trump promises, where we have less freedom, where the middle class gets screwed, where there's fewer opportunities in our community? Or do we want to try and continue on with high employment, where we want to continue to produce more energy than ever before in this nation, where we want to keep taking the fight to China and beating them as we are now? We've got a lot of work to do, to be sure, in this country, but I believe we need to continue on this trajectory, not go back to the dark past that Donald Trump promised.
Governor, if the past is as dark as you say it is, if the threat is as big as you fear it is the Joe Biden who was on that stage last night your best option to prevent it from happening again?
Joe Biden earned the votes of primary voters, and he is our nominee. Listen, John, I've got a unique position in that as both Attorney General here in Pennsylvania and now as Governor, I've had the opportunity to work with both men, and I can tell you that my experiences with Donald Trump demonstrate just how dangerous he is. Most of the time that I dealt with Donald Trump, it was kicking his butt in a courtroom because he was trying to take away our freedoms, because he was trying to exacerbate the problem of climate change. It was because he was trying to bully trans kids and undermine the rights of Pennsylvanians, and we won in court nearly every single time. Donald Trump promises more of the same.
Oh, he stopped Trump from bullying trans kids!
What I'm saying is, for all those people who agree with you, and there are many, are you more or less fearful this morning that he will be reelected based on what you saw last night?
Look, I would say to all those folks who are out there worrying right now, start working and stop worrying. There's a clear contrast in this race, and in many ways, even though there's two gentlemen on the ballot, Donald Trump and Joe Biden, I think this election is more a referendum on all of us, and whether in this nation we still value freedom. And Joe Biden promises more freedom, Donald Trump promises less.
Can we hurry this up? I want to watch the Sox game. Since you got picked up on charges claiming you're from Chicago.
That's correct.
Just admit it.
I'm telling the truth.
You're from Naperville.
I'm from Chicago.
So am I. Which part?
Southside.
Neighborhood?
Bridgeport.
Old Style or Miller?
Whatever's in the fridge.
What are the three streets around a vagina?
Paulina, Melvina, and Lime.
773-202. Well, it is now time for a...
Who was Nick? Who was Nick?
Yeah, Valenzuela, the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office just released the name of the woman who unfortunately died in this fire early this morning.
Hey, look, it's me.
Coming through, very few. Locations around the world.
congressional elections, which Democrat did well compared to expectations. At that point, Biden either should have or made someone his clear heir and had them run in 24. But, we're going to have another 4 years of Trump. So.
Well, some facts, some undisputed facts. This is the earliest presidential debate ever. It's in June. That's number one. Number two, neither Trump nor Biden has qualified with enough delegates to be their party's representative. Now, of course, we know Trump's going to be the Republican representative. Period. End of story. That's done. As far as Biden, as far as talks of an open election, nominating somebody else, I don't know the rules. I've heard many times that it can happen, and I've heard that it hasn't happened, but I haven't done the research to determine that fact about an open whatever. I don't.
Open convention. The closest in my lifetime that we came to an open convention, well, I think 1972 was truly an open convention before McGovern managed to win at 2 a.m. And then the next close one was 1984 between Mondale and Gary Hart. That was not clear because Jesse Jackson was the spoiler, so he had enough delegates to deny majority to both Mondale and Gary Hart. And so when the convention started, it wasn't clear who was going to be the Democratic nominee.
Sam, you'll like this. I believe it was 1983, maybe a year or two later. I was, when I was in college, president of my college club, Students for Heart. And of course, Hart was caught definitely with a picture, if not video. I think it was a picture.
It is a picture of Donna Rice sitting on his lap in the boat.
On a boat in the ocean.
Monkey Business was the boat.
Monkey Business. That was the name of the boat, I think, right? Monkey
Yeah.
Yeah, and that destroyed his campaign. Just the picture. Here we got Donald Trump, sex with porn stars, paid off 6 figures. That was a picture.
Things have changed.
Well, let's not forget.
Not for the better.
Let's not forget John F. Kennedy and Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, but nobody knew that at the time.
Nobody knew that,
Not at the time. And if any of you have any doubts, this is really easy, guys. All you have to, and I mean, I'm developing these clips. These will be on my show Saturday and Sunday. Just go ahead and Google up on YouTube or go on to YouTube, President Biden's State of the Union, 4 minutes. And you listen to, or if any of you saw it, you remember Biden at the State of the Union. He sounded great. He sounded totally in control of his faculties. He came off as presidential. And here we are, not even 4 months later. And I can't believe that his cognitive abilities have declined that much in 4 years. I would argue they're pretty much still the same. The difference, of course, is the State of the Union. You have a teleprompter and you have the script right in front of you. At this debate, and again, I said I wasn't going to talk so much about it, but since it's brought up and whatnot, hi, Mr. Elfman, Dr. Elfman. The fact that both Trump and Biden were not allowed to bring up any notes. They were not allowed to communicate with anybody from their years ago with Kennedy, Nixon. And by the way, I thought the moderators, it was the fairest moderation of any debate I've seen in a gazillion years. The moderators are to be applauded for the way they did it. It was basically a repeat of Nixon Kennedy. But I think the fact that Biden had been cooped up in Camp David for 10 to 11 days, and he may have had a cold. I mean, I don't think he had the flu. Maybe he had a cold or whatnot. But the cat's out of the bag, folks. You can't hide it anymore. And we haven't even begun to hear, I haven't heard from the Republicans yet. The only Democrats that came out publicly to basically say, well, he started out slow and then got better at the end. And, let's forget about performance and concentrate on the issues, were Vice President Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom. Okay? This is the first time, and I mean literally the first time ever, I've seen 8 anchors at the CNN anchor table that all said immediately after the debate that they've been texted and they were contacted during the debate by Democrats. And I'm paraphrasing now. This is over. Holy fucking shit. I can't believe what I'm seeing. We're in trouble. That's 8 anchors at CNN hearing from Democrats. Anyways. But
so the
I will
debate
have,
was a flop for
yeah, go ahead. Go.
Then, so it was a flop.
Alfonso, I don't know if anybody else, I'm having trouble hearing you. I don't know about anybody else.
Yeah, I was talking to someone.
That is much better, sir.
Yeah, I turned off my Bluetooth. No, I was asking, was the debate a flop for Biden?
I call it, in all sincerity, the worst performance by anybody, forget about sitting president, the worst performance by anybody at a presidential debate. Sam, thoughts? Yes, no, maybe?
Sorry, what was the question?
I said, Alfonso asked, what did I think, or what do we think about the debate, the performance? I said, in my opinion, it's the worst performance by any candidate on a presidential debate, notwithstanding a sitting president. It's the worst ever. That's what I said. I can't think of a worse performance.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but that's the impression
that's right. But you had news blackout. Sorry, Stan, you didn't see it.
but the thing is, that was what I expected. I expected Biden to completely, right? I mean, the dude's 81 years old. My in-laws are 81 years old. They're amazing people. They're really nice people. They carry themselves, right? But I don't want them to drive, let alone run a country. It's like they all, 3 of them, I have 4 in-laws because my wife's parents divorced and remarried. So 3 of them are exactly the same age. And all 3 of them just tell me the exact same stories 4 times in the same day.
Sam, you've heard John Scalia on my show before. He's 77 years old, 3.5 years old. He's Trump's age. I've talked about my dad before, who's going to be 90 this year. And in fact, my dad is is constantly refused. I haven't said this before. I'll say it now. I've asked my dad to come on the show and record it. I'm going to ask him if he'll spend like 2 minutes recorded talking on the phone with me so you can hear my dad, who's going to be 90 years old by the end of the year. It's not the age, it's combination of both the stuttering as well as the cognitive difficulty. With your permission, Sam, I agree with everybody that the debate was over 3 minutes into it. And Sam, I know you had a news blackout, but if you haven't heard it, this is what took place 3 minutes into the debate. Check this out.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one. Number two, that $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they've raised $500 billion, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
That was 3 minutes in. And as far as I'm concerned, and a lot of people think, it was over right then.
That's what she said.
Hey, Tiffany. Welcome to our Daily Bread. It's a pleasure to see you.
Hi. I really enjoyed your hot take, Steve. It's very refreshing, and I'm very happy to be here with you.
Oh, well, Tiffany, I enjoy you enjoying my hot take.
Oh, that's John.
Usually, I think that what everybody says the opposite is speaking your truth and being truthful.
Absolutely, Tiffany.
I think Tiffany's got some hairy balls.
By the way, when someone said that's John who?
It's not important who we are. What's important is our plan.
Oh, you know what? I agree with you, Tiffany. What's your plan?
That John.
Yes, Uncle. Yes, Uncle Steve. Yes, Uncle Steve. The plan is in action, and the fire rises.
Okay, so what's the plan that's in action?
An army will be raised, and those who will serve step forward.
Where will this army be raised? Where?
To rip down this decadent mess.
No. Where will this army be raised? Geographical location.
In Gotham.
Gotham. You mean Gotham City, Batman and all that?
Yes.
Wow. All right. Well, that's good to know, Tiffany. Thank you for that.
Do you all accept this man's resignation?
What man?
You're smoking cigarettes, and your father's 90.
I haven't resigned.
Your father will outlive you.
Tiffany, I'm stronger than ever. I'm not going anywhere.
That's what everybody thought about Joe Biden.
No, we don't have to. There's a request from Amon. We're not going to move her out, but we'll give her a first-class escort to the VIP. No, we don't have to listen to it. Of course not. Hey, John Malincrot. John Malincrot. I know it's early, but did you see the debate last night?
I did not, and I just really not interested in talking about it. I don't actually care how bad Biden was, because, of course, the thing is, I'll be voting to preserve
American democracy.
No, I understand that.
Trying to kidnap her and a bunch of other crazy shit she's pulled off, and she'll go down in flames rather rapidly. And then that leaves who's the next viable person? You could try to throw Dean back in there, but he doesn't have enough momentum. And again, it comes down to the cash. You're going to have to create ads, you're going to have to run ads, and you're going to have to go out and stump speech and talk to people. And 70 days is just not enough to win it. And Trump is way too much money, and Biden will never relinquish.
I love your hot take, Brad. I think your analysis is spot on and 100% accurate.
Hey, JP.
Hey,
What do you think about the debate?
oh my God. Was there a debate?
Yeah, you got so drunk with Doc, we couldn't even hear you last night. You were so intoxicated in the liquor store.
No, I didn't even talk. We just went off the points. And Biden, it's time to hang it up. Just sit down. Just call it quits. That's it.
If you vote for Donald Trump, you're not black.
Oh, I'm a Trumper. And I'm black as ace of spade.
But what about Ish down here? If he gets in a car, does the oil light turn on? And how much Jew hate can one man hold in his heart?
No, it's when you get out. When you get out the car, does the oil light turn on. I am dark as the underside of your bed. You look at the bed, it's dark. That's me. There you go. That's how black I am.
So, Ish, how was the debate for you?
It was as expected. Trump did his thing. Biden was having trouble with his memory.
Are you gonna vote for Biden still?
No, both of them crackers. I don't really have any faith in any of them. But a lot of people.
That's because you're a divestment, black radical, African American extremist, and you're a racist.
I don't appreciate that characterization.
Well, you hate America. You hate America, and you're a racist.
It's true.
I actually don't hate America. I'm actually so America-loving that, I wish for something to the effect of a regime change. I don't think that...
Ish, you don't like anyone. You just like playing politics.
You want a violent extremist organization. It's dangerous.
Edmund, come on. When he gets all hot and angry, he says what he really thinks. Like when he was saying, "Oh, you are Maya's here." So when you were saying, "Oh yeah, the Israelis are exporting pedophilia around the world," remember that?
Oh my God, you sound like Joe Biden. Wait, let me whisper like Joe Biden. Does anyone want to hear me talk about how pedophiles within families, their cousin,
Come
your
on,
uncle...
Tiffany, shut up.
We all know that it was like his brother. You ever seen Family Guy? You know that really old white guy that has a crush on Peter Griffin? You know that? You sound like you hand children candy at late hours. Would you like some NyQuil, little boy?
Everybody knows when you get hanging out with your sister and you rape her and his cousin.
I mean, that's why we have to have abortions in this country, because of predators within families that sexually molest their family members. And that's why, you do a Freudian slip on stage.
Well, let me weigh in right quick and then I'm out. Fuck Trump. Trump got the IQ and empty jar. On Biden's birthday, he's still the better choice. Fuck Trump.
Brother, I'm gonna come clean. I don't understand black men like yourself. because you know what I'm saying? It seemed like you invested in this little Democrat Republican shit.
I got some more. Fuck your feelings.
Glitching too.
Yeah, listen, no, I got more. Fuck your feelings. We always have to take care of ourselves, and we have to do it.
No, fuck your feelings about Trump.
We gotta.
Quick question, right?
We've always had to take care of our fucking self in this country. Fuck both of them. But if you don't take care of yourself, listen. If we don't take care of ourselves, the way we've always had to fucking do in this bitch, being a quagmire, being in the middle of this bullshit, that sport, that shit show we saw last night, the only thing left is to take care of your fucking self. So fuck Trump, fuck Biden, fuck your feelings, get on with your fucking life. Get on with your fucking life and stop fucking thinking that this shit is gonna do anything for you. If you don't have friends, family, and somebody to look out for you, you're fucked anyway. So fuck your feelings.
Fuck it.
I'm with you. I support that message. I approve of that message. What the hell happened?
I don't know. Someone's racing here.
Let me see.
Are you?
What should I cook today?
This is the reason. Today we need to be kind to all Democrats because they are on suicide watch. We feel for you, Leroy.
This is the fucking thing. I'm not standing for Democrats or Republicans. I'm standing for.
What are you standing for, Leroy?
I'm standing for real motherfucking people who are going to.
Who are they?
Me
the
and all the
Palestinians, the Jews. Who are they?
Listen. All the adults, all the fucking adults, get up every day. All the fucking adults will get up every day and grind and take care of each other.
So Leroy, I got a quick question for you.
President. Dump the motherfuckers in this bitch.
Leroy, you need to stop talking so you can hear other people.
Leroy, I have a quick question for you. Would you rather a president is H2O or has a good golf swing? Leroy glitching a little bit. I don't know if y'all can tell.
No, I'm not glitching at all.
Yes, you are glitching.
Okay, so I'm glitching. So let me finish my intelligent thought.
No, this is
that's not right. It's not
intelligent or a weird definition of intelligent. Nah, let that black man speak. Fuck that talking about. You talk about some man. It's not intelligent. Get the fuck out of here. Speak, black man. Speak.
It's not some intelligent.
It doesn't matter what color he is.
Issa, are you okay with the canceled election?
It's not a rant. It's a very clear.
Am I okay with what?
Canceling the elections and just having a golf tournament. Like, let's see if these two men can play golf.
I would love that.
Look, people have.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Listen, if the voters don't go out,
only if you can have Elon Musk and Biden also.
Elon Musk will like drive next to them in a golf cart, but they both got to carry their own clubs.
The voters take it themselves. That's the bottom line.
Excuse me, Issa. This is Tiffany. Issa, can you please put me in the queue, Issa?
Tell you what the fuck it is. What we get ready to experience is exactly.
Oh my God, Leroy! I think that it's time for you to mute up.
We can't
hear you.
Nah, we come clean. I'm gonna come clean, big bro. Your shit definitely tweaking.
No, the voters.
Before was making a little bit of sense, and now it's not making no sense.
Issa, this is Tiffany Sotheby. I want to know if you're ready to tell everybody the good news on the Shabbos that I am your daughter in the marriage and the ketubah of the union with John Kitover, aka Edmund Dakin. This is the burner baby. I'm the baby you've always wanted, Issa.
The voters did it.
Yeah, you are.
I'll do it again.
Yo, Issa, why you keep trying to bait people to talk about the Middle East? Huh?
The voters took themselves and I'm going to do it again. Simple.
Where am I trying to pay the people to talk about the Middle East? What do you mean?
Okay. Never mind. You weren't doing
what
that.
do you mean?
I think he's claiming that you're an intelligence asset and that you've been working here gathering intelligence.
Hold on, Tiffany, shut up. It sounds like you want to tell me something, but you don't know how to, or you're afraid to. What do you want to tell me, Ish?
Let that black man speak. Let that black man speak.
Okay, so
Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Mia. Thank you, Mia. Who is that? Tiffany? Tiffany.
No, it's Tiffany Edmund.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Tiffany is Edmund. I love Edmund.
What's that black man think? So, Ish, what is it that you want to tell me?
I said what I wanted to tell you. I think you're trying to bait people into talking about the Middle East. You know, but I wonder why.
People to talk about anything. It can. What's your pick? We can talk about the Middle East. We can talk about Russia. We can talk about the debate. We can talk about black people and how outraged they get. We can talk about
the border. I'm telling you. I know you're giving me.
What time do you want to go?
Want to be white men. We want to be white men. We want to be white men so bad.
Okay, let me speak. Let me speak. Okay, I'm gonna enforce, and we can show all these other people that he's done something for and gave tangibles to. That's what we're saying, brother. We vote not self-interest, not personality.
So your belief in Donald Trump being a sovereign saint of Black American interests is Kamala Harris, who he tossed out like a bedwell. He just kicked her out, had people drag her up out the White House. It's her and Kanye West, who has referred to black people as choosing slavery. Those are the people, because he likes those people, even though he doesn't like Omarosa, he threw Omarosa out. He threw Omarosa out and said, get this bitch out of here, get this black bitch up out of here. And then Kanye West, who's bipolar and thinks we just choose slavery. Oh, also, he was friends with rappers. Which rappers was he friends with in the 90s? That makes you think he's going to vote for black interests.
Well,
support black interests.
Well, I understand your interpretation of it is kind of screwed according to, your particular vantage point or school of thought.
No, just correct me if I'm wrong.
But no, I'm understanding, brother. I'm trying to, whatever like we didn't grow up in the same place, so we got different experiences. So
I just have a youthful voice. I don't smoke like Lucy's. But I'm like,
no, it's not that. It's not that. It's just that in the way that you're perceiving it is this here, right? Negotiate is what I said there, and then, hold on, let me address this here to the brother that misheard when I said, and I want to ask you this question just for clarification. Did I not say that as nationalists, that we fight for the group regardless to differences of political, religious, and sexual persuasions? Did I not say that?
You did say that. I mean, I'm certain I could pick that one open, but Otis will have a field day.
Well, no, brother, maybe not.
Which he's probably right, but we don't got to do that right now.
Well, he did not hear it, but this is how the mainstream media would spin stuff there. But he didn't hear it. I just needed a witness to reiterate it.
I heard
and so, but now to your question, the willingness has to be there first and foremost. When we seeing that, if we was to deal with the pardons, call it, it's substance at least, what I'm saying? It wasn't just give us Juneteenth, which is a nothing burger, versus, and he boasts about it, hey, the African American, with this rapper, that rapper that he gave pardons to. Hey, we can't even brag on Obama like that. You see what I'm saying? So it comes down to the tangibles that we get. So there's a more readiness based upon, as I mentioned prior, the first Republican president. What they're trying to play with us is the benign neglect, which is the Democratic Party, and get us to vote blue, no matter who. But I'm not going to go into all that history. I'm just talking about the cultural things, the tricks of how the white man
benign neglect was a Republican stance during the Nixon administration. It wasn't Democrat. Get it right.
Still a term that applies or doesn't apply.
Hold on. Everybody go pull up the Moynihan report. So now this is how we deal with these folks who just want to do talking points versus the history. Now go pull up the Moynihan report on page 7. You can read it for yourself. So now I don't know what this got to do.
It doesn't matter who it originated from. It just matters if it applies to this situation
here's the point.
Or not.
Here's the point. There's nothing that the Democrats or anybody who believes in Democrats can tell us that the Democrats have done for us, and they have been getting our vote rubber stamped for over 60 years now. And if I'm misunderstood in my recollection of foundational Black American history, please highlight to us what he has done that was only for foundational Black Americans, just like the state of Israel only get benefits for only the state of Israel.
So, first,
are you comparing our country to people?
So, guys, so Corey.
I was responding. Corey, if you're
going like Corey's brother.
Hello, Corey. If you're going to say things
Trump did for black people, you at least should kind of try to come up with a better argument. I mean, he did, support Al Sharpton's National Action Network, Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Coalition, and hosted an NAACP party, and rappers Lil Wayne, Cube, Snoop, Lil Jon, 50 Cent, and Lil Pump are all rappers he's had a history with, so I'd encourage you to incorporate that into your answer. I do disagree with you that he's going to push black issues this term, because the main person that I think would have led that initiative, Ivanka Trump, is not going to be involved with the administration this time. So I don't see who the advocate for black America is going to be in the Trump administration this time. I don't think there's going to be any real end.
Well, with respect to you, brother CEO, you kept saying, I don't see. And this is the reason why we use the term we, us, our. We use the possessor for a reason, right? And so now, I disagree with you, brother, because we disagree with you. And the way that if we was to just ask it this way, because you didn't address what I asked. I said that Joe Biden has not done nothing for us since he's been in office. Donald Trump, if we was just tackling it, you say you into Brandon. When Donald Trump was running for office, just tackling
to historically black colleges.
Hold on, wait, just tactically.
What tactics are you talking about?
Tactically.
You don't think it.
Oh,
Well, when you met me, when I came on Clubhouse, do you guys remember Jorge?
Yes.
You remember Jorge?
Yes.
Brad remembers. Well, I loved Jorge, by the way. So Jorge was and Alex Lieberman.
Yeah.
Alex. So Jorge and Alex.
Alex, New York.
Alex, New York. Yes.
Alex Lieberman, Alex New York. Yeah.
So they were my introduction to Clubhouse, and when I came on Clubhouse, it was 2020, I think, or maybe 2019, and I had.
No, I don't think it existed. Whatever.
Okay, maybe it was 2020 or maybe it was 21. I don't even remember. But let's say it was 2020. It doesn't matter. I had recently begun to suffer an offline cancellation against for making Indian baskets. Is Edmund still here? Yeah, there.
Yes, we know all about your struggles.
Yes. So, but not everybody knows. I don't know if Meyer knows.
No, I never heard the story. It's quite fascinating.
So I run a program called Rewild Maine that is focused on nature connection and small-scale living skills, and we teach programs about wild edible plants and organic arts and crafts and wilderness survival. And in 2018, I taught a drum-making class, and people accused my drum-making class of being an example of racist cultural appropriation of Native Americans, and they said that it was akin to...
You make drums or you play drums?
No playing, just making. So we would take raw deer skins and scrape the flesh and hair off, and then stretch them dry over a drum frame, and then people would take them home. I didn't teach any Native American songs or ceremonies or shaman drumming, and those things I think could have been construed as cultural appropriation, but certainly it doesn't matter.
I'm coming in with breaking news.
Breaking news. She's coming in.
Breaking news.
This is the Abby I got news. This is not the Abby I was referring to.
Hey, everyone quiet. I want to hear the news.
January 6th obstruction charges overturned on all of those defendants on the obstruction charges, which should, including Trump's obstruction charges, which should get rid of the DC case because he's charged in the DC case. They're just talking about it now. This isn't the immunity one. This is the January 6th obstruction. Weird ruling from the court. Amy Coney Barrett wrote the dissent on this one with Sotomayor and Kagan. So very interesting breakdown of the court, but it looks like that the DC case will go away on him. All right, I'm going back in.
What are the legal theories?
Thank you,
How can I call the room then? What
No, just keep going. There's going to be so many different cases coming out.
No. So this is suicide watch is more appropriate than ever.
Mayor, they overruled canceled Chevron 20 minutes ago. Gone. Chevron's
I'm trying to work. I'm not paying attention. So Chevron's done?
Chevron gone completely. The fishermen
So,
have total control now. Chevron gone. No more federal.
I've been saying, and I love when I'm right because I'm never confident enough beforehand. I've been saying that a big thing that's coming is the duel between the legislative branch and the executive branch. They're stripping the executive branch step by step. They've got to go to the SEC.
What are you talking about?
I mean, Issa heard me say it, right?
And how this is, I said earlier, you weren't in the room, how this will affect maybe the State Department is going to really...
You lawyers have your own perspectives on everything. It's really ridiculous.
And hey, Tiffany, are you
being an American citizen, sweetheart?
I think I'm developing a crush on Tiffany.
Yeah, okay, guys, I'm going back to
listener.
See this.
Quick question. All right, come back again. I want to get the legal. This is Abby, a very ignorant question.
What?
The court never officially ruled on Colorado, right? It was all preliminary. Did they make an official ruling here?
Oh no, but they ruled on the encampment, but I think they kicked it back to the lower court. That's the one I don't
encampment, but they didn't rule on Article 3 of
No.
14th Amendment.
No.
Listen, you're both Jewish lawyers. Go study your Torah and let us continue our conversation.
I'm not a Jewish lawyer.
Yeah, you're a CFO. We know you work in finance, but you're so well read on Torah.
What to do, but you have for fuck.
Do you have time for a question, Abby?
Yeah, go ahead.
What was the reason for the kicking out the January 6th people for
the obstruction? I just heard a snippet of it. That's why I want to go back and listen. That the law was intended more for Enron on obstruction. That the law wasn't written with this in mind, and it was a misapplication of that law. That they were stretching a law that didn't apply here.
Well, that's what we do, stretch laws. Well, thank you very much, Abby. Thank you very much.
I'll be back.
Okay, let's go back to the baskets. But that was amazing.
Who's talking in the squeaky
Oh my God,
Before Ishmael continues telling us about how he was discriminated against by a psychotic black woman, I just want to say that I am the daughter of Isa Watermelon Guatemala from Guadalajara, Guatemala.
Okay, Ishmael, I want to hear this, but I want you outside. I want you to get back to your evolution.
You have 5 minutes because I have another call.
Well, it was just that it was two things. First of all, when I got canceled in 2018, from the age of 16 to 33, I identified as an anarcho-primitivist. And I would argue that industrial civilization is inherently unsustainable and inherently exploitative, and that we should abolish industrial technology and take our pants off and shit in a bucket and have orgies.
You were one of those white people.
I was one of those white people.
You wanted to go live off in the woods and shit.
Correct.
Did you have rooms called Rewilding or clubs?
Yeah, of course, all the time.
Yeah, I've been in here.
Yeah. And so it was two things. It was, first of all, when I was fantasizing about ending society and living off the land, I was making an assumption that my neighbors that people are good. It's coming from a place of people are good. And the assumption that, I used to make back 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I had a career as a militant anarchist rapper. And I used to write songs about how we were all going to stand together in the revolution and save the world from the corporate overlords. And I had this fantasy of my comrades kind of standing shoulder to shoulder alongside me. And when I got canceled in 2018, it was an experience of basically all of my comrades or people who I thought were my political allies turning on me in a really, really frightening ways. And that basically, I lost a lot of friends offline, my reputation in town suffered, and COVID was happening, then I turned to Clubhouse for relief. And so that was the first half of the awakening, was just shattering the illusion that my comrades were going to take care of me.
house.
Deserve defense.
At the pool party. Oh, yeah, they're just, you're not standing outside.
You my biggest hater. Jazzy was about to kick him out. Jazzy was about to kick him out.
You're a fucking weirdo.
I'll be a weirdo.
Hi everybody, it's your good friend Tiffany Sotheby. Hi everybody, it's Tiffany Sotheby. Hello.
That's why you look Asian now.
Get out, bitch.
Excuse me? Don't you dare talk to a queen like that. Hi everybody, it's me, Tiffany Sotheby. I want to say I was so happy with Donald Trump's performance. I feel like all the Democrats here on this app are having Trump derangement syndrome meltdown. I feel bad for you.
Exercised by a state governor.
Hi everybody, it's your good friend Tiffany Sotheby. I have a loud voice too, and I want to say how proud I am of Donald Trump. He mopped the floor with that old clown Alzheimer Democrat pedophile. And did you hear?
Oh, there's this one rapper on here. I wish I could find.
Bro, you just all known that the sun doesn't change it.
Hi everybody, it's Tiffany Sotheby. I want to say I'm so happy to be here with you all.
Only an idiot would say that, but real quick, because can 6 ounce bottle, 8 ounce bottle. Yeah, 6 or 8 ounces. It lasts a long time though, y'all.
But you said I need to be using it as my
Come onto this show. Actually, they didn't want him to go onto any of the left shows. I don't know what they're afraid of. Maybe they're afraid I would talk to him in that way. And I would at this point talk to him in this way because he's a fucking propagandist.
Okay, everybody, this is the Tiffany Show about Trump.
Hello? Hi, welcome to the Tiffany Show.
Yeah, welcome. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm chilling. I'm just vibing.
Oh. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Why you so energetic?
I'm very happy because Donald Trump, he's going to become the next president of the United States.
Yeah, Donald Trump 2024. Let's vote for him.
Let's go, Donald Trump.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Free Donald, free Donnie, free Donnie, free Donnie, free Donnie. Hello?
Can I get a hoya?
Oh yeah. Can I get an oh yeah? Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Chill, Daddy.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Tiffany Sotheby Show. Hope you've enjoyed. This is Tiffany. Vote Trump.
Right. I think the point that is being discussed and questioned is Trump's tools that he can use to adjust the war. Well, a tool that we know, the quote-unquote nuclear option, which isn't nuclear, but it's nuclear in its impact, is to stop fighting.
Right? Are we gonna? Well, I think if the question is there gonna be a war or not? Sure. If we give up or pressure our allies to do the same, sure, then the war is over. But if the question is about winning the war, well, if one person's actually gonna fight the war and provide the means with which to fight, and the other person's just gonna give up and say, hey,
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
It's about winning or losing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Biden's trying to win it. Trump's
Okay,
trying to win it.
wait, I think you're getting lost in something. Okay, by Trump doing that, he puts pressure on the EU and the rest of the world.
Why would you put pressure
the rest
on
of the world and the EU? The rest of the world and the EU can fill that void.
He's right. Because France.
Right. It's logical.
Yeah, because France.
No.
Yeah, and France.
We have an adversary. That's Putin.
France.
Is there anybody else that can talk? Is there anybody else that can talk?
I guess okay. I don't understand what you don't understand here.
Fuck.
Like, what's difficult about putting the rest of the world in a position of making a decision?
Especially Europe.
I think there's something of what I'm saying that you don't understand. If the question is
their driveway, right? It was like the American dream, right? And I mean, I was a teenager, right? And so I totally understand what you're saying by like, how is this bad, right?
I see where this guy's coming from a bit, but I'm definitely, not one to ever encourage white folks to
much PSI can be put into the balloon before it reaches it's where it's going to pop. So now I'm asking you, with the container over the earth, how much pressure can the container withhold? Because we build containers we build like oxygen tanks to withhold a certain amount of PSI before we fill them with air, so we know how much we can, what we can do with it. So how much pressure can the container hold? Go ahead, Carl. I see you open.
Which is, it probably goes without saying, but obviously, all that I was trying to say is that in high school, my black friends who I smoked weed with while we were skipping third period used to use the N-word as a term of endearment to refer to me. And so there's two ways to do that. If Ish and I were just chilling having a beer, I could imitate it, he could hear my vibe and understand that I'm not trying to repeat the harmful word. Or I could do like the academic explanation and say, well, my friend Ish, when I was in high school, my black friends used to use a racist term of endearment, and that just seems more
And they were skipping school and they were smoking weed. We get it.
That's my only point. So
putting shit in his mouth that he didn't fucking
yeah, he's saying it for no reason. He's saying it just to snide black people.
You're having a conversation about it.
David, you're not even black. The black man can defend himself.
He was part of the story. He was the one smoking weed, skipping third period. They finished school already. He had a different class.
Go ahead, go smoke a blunt.
Smoking weed.
So anyway, you kind of have more, how do I say, I want to say compassion, but more empathy with the world. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean. You have a better appreciation for how people think and perceive.
Yeah.
I get you completely. I mean, this is a byproduct of the influence the English had on the world, if you know what I mean. I mean, they only reason why the entire world speaks English and actually goes after learning English. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I just got off the call. I don't know. Yeah, it's because of the influence the English had on the.
But they need competitors to compete with Albania and Adani's monopoly. Almost decentralize their power to have.
And I think one of the reasons why you are saying this reduction in FTL is because most foreign
836'ı.
Öyle şeyler bugün yapmadım. 2 gündür öyle şeyler yaptım hep. Dün, ondan önce dün.
Evet. Bu hanımefendiyle yeni tanıştım. İngilizce speaking yapmak isteyenler konuşabilir.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hello. Hello.
Okay. You can't hear me, right?
Okay.
Değil amına koyayım.
Okay, hear you just phone. My name's Tiffany.
Ne diyor? Gülesim geldi amına koyayım. Sesi duymadın mı? Biliyor musun sen?
Bunun tam bir adı var ama söyleyemeyeceğim. Şimdi söylersem anlarsın. Çünkü doğal olarak. Söyle. Söylersem anlar, ayıp olur yani, kadına hakaret etmiş olacak.
Türkçe söyle anlamasın.
David was policing the way he was saying this to me.
Oh, shit.
David called me racist.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He always calls everyone racist. He calls me racist. He calls me
Literally
anything. I think he's a troll, dude.
with all due respect.
With all due respect, you don't have to answer that. You don't have to answer that. It's like, hey, Al, how's your granddaughter? You don't have to answer that, Al. Okay, that's very private.
Yes, with all due respect.
I love David. He's very normal in real life.
So I hear
provinces that are very conservative. Like Alberta is
Alberta.
Texas, basically.
Yeah, but Alberta's full of a whole bunch.
Joe Borelli joins me now. Joe, let me say what I think about this race. I think it's exposed a chronic divide within the Democrat Party and within New York City. Jewish people against people of color, and that's an awful situation.
Well, it certainly has, and what's worse,
Longer.
She met King on there.
Both of y'all being on some dumbass shit, bro.
Well, of course, King didn't marry her, but you did.
Bro, that's some dumbass shit.
You was doctrine by motherfucking King.
Is this how you usually spend your Friday afternoons and mornings? Get a life, loser.
What the fuck? Who's Tiffany?
Why did that sound like Edmund?
No, Tiffany sounds like the Republican.
No, bitch. I'm from London. My name is Tiffany Sowerby. I came here to destroy you all. I am a queen, and you can suck my gefilte fish cock.
That's Republican.
Wait.
You can kick David Bobadilla, or you can suck my British cock.
Voice anywhere. I don't give a fuck if he's just trying to disguise it. I would know his voice.
That's Republican.
Hey, yeah, you called it right. Because I ain't know that was him in the other room. That's crazy.
Hello? There we go. Hello?
I don't talk like that. This is Tiffany Sowerby speaking, you fucking degenerate clowns.
You can't even hide it anymore.
No, never. I've listened to his voice for 2.5 years.
Do you know how many times King has said the word Angel in a Chili's and room? He's a fucking tosser.
That's definitely.
Fucking loser. Oh my god, get a fucking life, you fucking loser.
I hate that I like this dude.
MG, oh my god, King, you run your fucking mouth like you're a fucking street professor. Go back to picking up garbage.
You didn't vote for him, King?
Vote for who?
Edmund.
Is that his real name? Is that?
I'm the fucking CEO of Clowntown, bitch.
I know him as Republican, honestly. So.
John, what is it? John
public office? Crazy.
Can you believe David Belvedere has never said an intelligent thing ever on this fucking app?
I did not know that.
Oh, actually, Edmund's actually very political, for sure, for sure.
No, I know that. I didn't know he ran for
And that's scary.
Oh, dude, like you never looked at his profile because he's literally got a sign. He's got a sign above his head in his PTR where it has like his district, his phone number, like his name, and everything. And like he's running for office. If you want to call him, you can.
And on the side, he makes a fool of himself on here.
On the side, you fucking little tosser, say something intelligent, you little bitch, I dare you. Say one fucking smart thing, you fucking little bitch. This is Tiffany Sotheby, on complete bitch.
That's definitely Republican.
I do not consent to being recorded for the record.
Exactly, you're like a fucking broken record, you fucking degenerate autistic retard.
You do have to stop recording for me. Other people
cannot record me.
Dude, everybody that's on this app is getting recorded right now. It's being fed to a fucking AI. Like our conversations are literally
fucking retarded, David Belvedere, you fucking retard.
You fucking retard.
Recorded. How we talk to each other, how we converse with each other, and AI is literally taking this apart and analyzing us right now, because that's why you can do this app for free without any advertising. Because they're recording it and they're feeding it to a fucking AI. If you don't fucking understand how it fucking works, then fucking get a job, bitch.
I'm too broke to get a job.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Jazzy, you alright?
Yeah.
Hey, I want to hang out with Jazzy right now.
Oh, Jazzy, what kind of stuff did Rick give you? Jesus.
He didn't give me anything.
Sounds like he gave you hepatitis.
Yeah, it sounds like he gave you a ball.
Did you get the HPV vaccine? Has anyone here gotten the HPV vaccine?
I'm leaving.
Did you get the balls out the hole, Jazzy?
Huh?
I told Oscar to kick him, but he's not listening.
Oh, shut the fuck up, you fucking little tosser.
Jazzy, did he pull your flag?
He pulled his flag.
Whoa.
Did you golf with a skirt on?
Happy Pride Month, everyone.
Fuck Pride Month.
I had on a dress.
Did you notice how the White House put out messaging on Instagram yesterday? They said LGBTQR+.
You can't talk regular right now.
Of course I can. This is Tiffany Sotheby. I came here to troll David Belvedere, to make him feel less than, to make him feel like he's an insignificant little fart in the woods.
I wish you could talk, Jazzy, but unfortunately someone's talking over you.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be the only black girl there, but I wasn't.
Hi, Felicia.
It was one other black lady there. She looked like a dyke. She was getting lessons.
Are you projecting?
No, I had a...
Right, that there are more impacts. I think the impact of having a Second Amendment is far greater than the impact of being able to wield that gun, if that makes sense. During COVID, for example, I lived in New York City, still do. Nobody asked for my papers. I'm around pretty freely. I think there was.
Did you go to any restaurants or bars in Manhattan? Because I was in Manhattan regularly, and every single time I went somewhere, I was asked for it. And maybe it's a selective enforcement thing, but I most certainly was asked for papers and denied entry if I didn't have it.
Yeah, that could be.
That could be.
Look for evidence of the country's racism. Just examine the foreign policy towards African countries
in contrast to European countries. Just examine their foreign policy. They realized that if we keep mistreating the darkies here, you know, they're already turning Muslim before we know it. Some of them might declare a caliphate. We had the fucking Black Panthers. This is not going well. So we need to contain this population of Negroes, and we need to bring the country together. How do we do it? We manufacture this notion that, you know, we're all the same kind of American. After we stole everything from you on the basis of race, race does not matter anymore. Forget about it. Why are you stuck in the past? Meanwhile, Jews have an international Holocaust remembrance every year. They're stuck in the past every fucking year, okay? And no one calls them a victim for it, okay? No one says, you know, suck it up and move the fuck on from the Holocaust, all right? And last time I checked, in New York, it was white supremacists walking in the supermarkets shooting black people in fucking Buffalo, all right? What? I can't. It was 2018. But, you know, mass shootings of Jewish people, they aren't as frequent last time I checked, okay?
But your fascination with the Jewish people is getting really boring. I'm sorry. What Ishmael said was, we are all humans and we go work. That is very different than having a Remembrance Day. By the way, Jews do not have a Holocaust Remembrance Day. Israel does. America has MLK, which I think is a great holiday. And then we also have Juneteenth. So there are two holidays to commemorate. No one said to forget the past. That would be a really big mistake. That's very different than obsessing on it every day.
But see, here's the thing. And I really don't obsess about it every day. But, you know, when you hear me, it is what it is. So if that's what you hear from me most, it is what it is. But
that's a conversation for you that you haven't thrown Jews into it by now, which is really weird.
No, that's bullshit. And by the way, you guys end up talking about, like, Jews somehow. I don't know. It just happens. And I happen to be informed
You
on it.
bring it up. Has anyone ever heard one comment that an ish that didn't throw Jews into it somehow?
But look. At the end of the day, as long as black people...
I gotta go. Ishmael, let me hang with Ishmael for a minute.
Why? Why are you gonna go? Ishmael? I think he exited the app.
He out of here.
Oh, I wanted to share with him. That was a great personal share. We don't usually get that because I watched his evolution and now I understand it, and I really appreciated that conversation.
Yeah, I do like him a lot somehow. I have spoken about this with him, and he really got talking to Tiffany. I can't bring you up again.
Oh, I could, but I don't want to.
Yeah, no, it's kind of this.
I lost touch with when I lost touch with you. So he's one of those like people. So I didn't really know, and now when I meet him again, like you're the same person. I just haven't spoken to him in like a year and a half. He like totally evolved. So I was curious like what that evolution was. So this was about.
Hello everybody, this is Tiffany Satherby. I think you're speaking like Scandinavians or something like that.
Is this person on Clubhouse?
Hello everyone, it's Tiffany. How are you doing?
What the fuck is going on? Nice chat. Tiffany Satherby, hello. O, dove tak jest nim?
Hello.
You dirty little slag, are you?
Dirty little slut, you fucking wanker.
No, so fuck. I'm scared.
Don't be scared, it only gets more dangerous the longer you listen to me. In the fucking hair? What? Why are you so amazed? There's nothing amazing about Tiffany Sotheby.
Listen to you, dirty slut. Get in.
Dirty slut, you fucking wanker. You fucking tosser. You ain't got 10 pence to get a box of chicken for dinner tonight, you fucking schmug.
Making these like ridiculous accents or whatever you want to call it. Come on, never fails.
I take that definitely isn't you in the picture.
Talk about it, Southside. The replays are up. My dad just asked me for some cannabis seeds. He's growing an illegal garden in the forest next door. He's out of control. He's 73, still breaking the law. Jesus.
President's popularity, it's hard to really know the actual details, but it's just part of the corrupt system we live in here.
Everybody thought you'd be on his team. It sounded like to me he was trying to appeal to the thugs, you know, the hip hoppers, those gangbangers in the Bronx. I mean, even the fact that you told me his sleeve was rolled up on one side and his cup on the other side on his pants. That's all been gangbangers.
Butters. You know what niggas told me, and I think I could win. They told me I should run for Borough president.
Do it. Sham Duke was running for Brooklyn Borough president.
I know, that's my guy. I know.
Shit.
But yo,
And I'm with Sham Duke and million people.
I was like, nah.
You would win it.
I got a felony, and then I looked it up. You could have a felony. Yep.
Yeah, you could have a felony and be borough
I
president.
didn't know that. Yo, but you know what? I'm about to. You know what? I'm going for it. Watch this.
Oh, you getting inspired? You about to move
somebody
back
right
to
there,
New
right there
York.
next to me, gassing my head up too.
Look, you gotta.
Excuse me, moderators, this is Tiffany Sotheby. Are all you black people now voting for Donald Trump?
What? Yo, okay. What was that voice? I don't know what that was. That shit sounded like.
Where did that come from? Who that?
It was an APAC representative.
Okay, I'm like, he could have just hit you up, man. Like, you know what's going on, man. You gotta.
You know what I'm saying? I'm about to really look into that shit.
Well, Hocus, here's what not to do. Listen. That's what not to do.
Second, I don't think he's a doddering old man with no memory, but I do think he's impaired. And I think that was painfully apparent last night. And what's interesting to me, by the way, because I just got an update in real time that the Supreme Court ruled for a member of January 6th mob in obstruction case. So we can switch to that. Should I put that at the top of the room? I was going to put Biden's advisors at the top of the room because
we need a minute to adjust. Don't we need a minute to adjust the ruling to know what we're talking about?
Okay, all right. So I don't want to switch. So before I do that, I'm going to put Biden's advisors, and then if you want, I know you like to discuss the Supreme Court. I mean, we just got this ruling. That's going to affect this election. It's going to affect the way it's being seen.
Now that we have 4 years of Biden, and 4 years of Trump, people look at that debate and they realize Biden is not.
I came up to answer Philip because I'm a Democrat. So, I watched the debate, and there are times when I've seen Biden, be competent, but last
last night was pretty awful, and it's not going to change my mind about who I'm voting for because there's no way in hell I would ever vote for Trump. But yeah, I don't know. Democrats are in trouble, and they should have told Biden to step down.
Yeah.
Made him step down and put something else up.
So Emily, so you would still Emily, you would still vote for Biden, or would you not vote?
No, I'm going to vote for Biden. I'm going to vote for the administration, right? So, like, I'm basically voting for Democrats over Republicans at this point. Like, I think that right now that his administration is running the country. I don't think he's running it. I don't think he's capable of running it. So, and I think the same thing kind of happened under Trump. And so, if I'm choosing between a Republican administration and a Democratic administration, I'm going to choose a Democratic administration.
What if, let me ask this question. This just came up in my mind. What if we removed Harris and we put a new VP in place? And then you're actually voting for both Biden and we know obviously what would happen is.
So this is Richard. If anybody was watching the CNN presentation, that's why I watched.
Slip and fall.
Yeah, this is Richard. Well, I was watching it, and immediately afterwards, there was an interview with Kamala Harris. She ripped Trump to shreds in about 3 minutes. So I don't know if that was done intentionally. It's almost like it was done on purpose to make her look good. I have no idea. But she just tore him asunder in about 3 minutes with Anderson Cooper. And
I think Rich. It's funny that you say that because I felt like she was in an impossible position, but her pivot, I felt like made her look like a total fool. Like I literally, I said people. I said Kamala Harris was just murdered by Anderson.
Anderson Cooper tore her to shreds, but she did not take it lightly. And they're going to be spin doctoring this awful performance by Biden here for months. The fact is, what she said, you're not going to determine 3.5 years of performance as a president on a 90-minute exchange with the most artful diminisher in politics. No, you're not going to do that because Trump is a legendary diminisher. He could diminish Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, he probably has.
The reason you're wrong, though, is because Trump lost 4 years ago, and I mean, part of what I saw as his decline was that he made a fool of himself in a debate with Biden. So this completely takes this out of account. The other thing is the reason that this one episode with Biden, well, there are two reasons, is so significant. Number one is because it's not as if this has happened before and he's bounced back from it. This is the worst that we've seen him, in my opinion. And it's not as if he's been getting progressively better. He doesn't look like the same guy he used to be, and these kinds of things keep happening in ways that are more and more noticed. That's number one. Number two is that when you hide in the basement for your first campaign and then you don't put yourself in the media spotlight throughout your presidency, you don't have nearly the minutes of speaking, of interacting with people that other presidents do. So every single one that you have, as few as there may be, is far more significant. So they're in a world that they have created, and they fucking created it bad.
Well, I agree with you that Biden was ill-rhythmed and poorly present. And it was a horrible debate for him. Having said that, time will tell. Of course, everybody's going to be spin doctoring. There's going to be the convention's coming up and another debate. By
Richard,
yeah,
my friend, listen to me, man. And I'm not looking for smoke with you or any other Democrat. Tanisha, please mute up. So my thing is, we all saw the debate. He was incoherent half the time. Another half the time, he was staring off into space like he saw a ghost. And I'm not a Biden basher. I'm just realistic, bro. Anybody that votes for him, you might as well not even vote. After last night, it's just my opinion, obviously. He has no chance. America saw what he's about and where he's at. I don't hear about his stuttering problem. I don't hear about anything else. This is elder abuse. He shouldn't have been on that stage. If he really loves this country, he would drop out and let somebody pick up the mantle. What's up, Ashley?
Hey, can I chime in?
Please do.
Yeah, so, look, I think that Biden's in between a rock and a hard place. I mean, obviously, it was a disaster last night. But I will say this. When I voted in the last election, I didn't vote for Biden. I voted for Kamala. And I think that Black people are going to determine the winner of this election. Trump is campaigning hard in the Black community. Look at where he's going and what he's doing. And Biden, he can't replace himself or her, because if Biden steps down and he has another white male replace him, people are going to be up in arms of why didn't Kamala get that spot. And if they replace her and it's two white men running, you might even vote for Trump. So I think they're damned if they do. I think they're damned if they don't. But you can't screw the Black woman out of having her opportunity to either step up as the first Black female president, or he's got to fix this. I don't know how, but I think that they backed themselves into a corner. I don't think that he can replace himself or her. I think that that's going to make the situation even worse.
Well, Ashley, let me just say this, and it's no smoke with you. You know, you're my friend. You're the travel expert that I go to if I need any travel advice. But Kamala Harris might be more unpopular than Joe Biden.
I don't
with the American people.
I don't disagree with that, but I'm saying in the last election, a lot of Black women saw something magical, the same way that people when Obama ran, and they said somebody.
Yeah, but Ashley, she's been at Tunisia. I need you to mute up, please, so I get feedback. So here's the thing. I gotta move down. This guy don't wanna.
I seen it already. I did it, Jay.
Thank you. So Ashley, she's been absent for 4 years. Nobody has seen this woman. You have to look up milk cartons to see her picture. So the American public, in my opinion, is not going to embrace somebody that hasn't been present. If you think Joe Biden hasn't been in the media, where's Kamala been? You know, where's Waldo or where's Kamala?
I don't disagree, but I'm saying if you replace her with a white male, people are just not going to vote. So I don't think it's going to help the situation. So I'm not voting.
Wait, Ashley, let me ask you one question. Would you vote for Michelle Obama if she ran?
I don't think she wants to. I don't think that's an option. And apparently somebody pissed her off because the Biden camp was mean to her friend or something, is what they're saying. So even if they talked her into running, I don't think she could do it. I think that she's not happy with his camp.
And what valid reason would you have to replace Kamala? I mean, what makes sense and what would be compassionate and compelling to get people who like Kamala to say, okay, yeah, that makes sense, and now I'm going to vote for whoever she, endorses as her replacement. One, she's not going to do that voluntarily, so you'd have to come up with something that, really pins her into a corner, and then it can look like you're strong-arming or bullying, a Black woman who potentially is next in line to be president. So it's really a no-win situation.
Well, Brian, you don't have to even mute up. I just want to make this point that I'm going to shut up for a while until I'm not running. But they made Bernie Sanders disappear 4 years ago, so they can make Kamala disappear.
Jay, I have a question. So you said that Kamala is more unpopular than Joe Biden. Is there some sort of poll that says that, or is that just your feeling? I mean, I don't think she's super engaging, but that doesn't mean that she wouldn't be a better option than Joe Biden. I think she would 100% be a better option than Joe Biden.
Hey, Emily, let me say this. The crossing guard by the school by my house would be a better option than Joe Biden right now.
Absolutely.
If you look at the... Wait, Brian, let me finish. That's my feeling, Emily, from conversations I've had, from things I've seen on TV. The woman's just not popular. Now, maybe she's popular to you and in your circle. In my world, she's a non-factor. Yeah, Brian.
If you look at the polling during the primary, when they were all competing in the Democrat primary, she dropped out because she had 1% or less than 1%, and so of course that was several years ago. But then you'd have to say, what has she done since then to endear herself and elevate her, her presence or her standing since she's been in office? So I think that's the dilemma.
Well, it's not much of a dilemma if the idea is that you're going to replace her, because who are you going to replace her with? If the idea is that Kamala doesn't have name recognition, are you then going to replace her with a white guy who has even less name recognition, with a black woman who has less recognition, right? I think what many people are afraid to say is, hey, we don't want to put Kamala top of the ticket because we're afraid that she might lose for the same reasons that Hillary Clinton lost, namely that she's a woman. And so, yeah, I mean, if Kamala isn't top of the ticket, if Biden steps down, then it's going to be read as what it is, an attempt to try to woo voters who may not be comfortable having a woman top of the ticket.
Wait, Yakubu, let me ask you this. Is it having a woman or having a black woman? Because we are in America.
Given all the DEI stuff, I'd say it's both, but hell, maybe more so her being a woman more than her being black.
So I like both, although I have heard black folks accuse her of not being black because she's half
Indian
from the continent. Yes. And also Jamaican, which some people contend with. Again, that's not my discussion to be a part of.
Bro, there's a room right now with 200 people debating whether she's black or not in Clubhouse. Literally right now.
Wow. It's not my argument, but it's out there. But I want to say this about this discussion, and that is, if we make a decision to pick somebody based on their identity rather than on their competence, then we are surrendering to the idea that we're not making the decision based on who's best for the country.
I mean, I would have.
That's a.
My bad. Go ahead.
No, what were you going to say? We can both go.
I'll just be super fast. I mean, I would agree with that, but the reality is that Trump was picked based on his identity, right? Hillary Clinton lost because of hers. So, I mean, I agree with you. It makes sense.
Let's take that first part. I don't think Trump was elected because of his identity. I think it's because of the way he behaved.
Sure, but that's a function of his identity, right?
We've got 175 million white folks in this country. He ran against all white folks in the Republican Party, except if you want to argue about, what's his name, Little Marco.
Hillary Clinton's white too, right?
Yeah, but you said he won because he was white. But he beat all the other white guys, so there's got to be more than that.
I'm talking about the presidential election. He ran against a woman. Okay. So,
well, why don't you start with the primary and then go to the presidential? Now, Hillary lost because I think she had a bad personality.
Anyways, as a bad
personality, but she also had a bad history as well.
Well, sure. And that's the whole thing about identity, right? You pick this event and you say, oh, you come up with pretext for why, to cover up the fact that you really voted. But I mean, it's clear that Trump wasn't picked based on merit, given that he had no experience, and given that given his ethics lapses, both of which came into play during his presidency.
His merit could be negative.
He clearly wasn't picked based on merit. Well, sure, he clearly wasn't picked based on merit.
I think it was based on his policies and behavior.
His policies were terrible. His policies and behavior were terrible.
No, but I think the people who liked him liked those policies, like cutting taxes.
Well, sure, but merit, we're talking about merit or liking, right?
We're talking about the merit of his policies.
Merit claims that there's objectivity, right? So we're talking about someone being liked. That's a slightly different discussion than a discussion based on merit. So
I didn't say the person was liked. I said the policies were liked.
Yeah. Well, I think you said about the person. But I think you said about the person. But in any event, sure. My point is this: Trump, as a candidate, was clearly unmeritorious. Therefore, it's clear that he wasn't picked based on merit, but on other factors.
That's a flaw. This flaw.
Namely, that it's not funny.
Yeah, that's false. That's false.
Sure. In any event,
I'll tell you what the flaw in the logic is.
In any event, there's no flaw in the logic.
I'm showing you what it is right now.
It is.
So they all have.
Yes, it is.
They all have. All of the candidates have shortcomings. The question is, do the merits outweigh the shortcomings? Now, I didn't vote for Trump. I felt his shortcomings outweighed his merits. But others felt that his policies were more attractive, especially things like cutting taxes, beefing up the military, the southern border. Let's say that 3 times. He's the one to put that on the map. And also relations with China. Those are just 3 of his big issues. And so I would say all the white folks, if you will, in the center of the country, the red states, they all went for Trump because they liked his policies.
Exactly. And Normo, can you look at it from this perspective as well? Normo, if we're talking about the identity of Donald Trump, right?
Wait, why?
Hold on for a second, bro.
I was speaking.
Hold on.
I was speaking first. That's fine. Yes, no, stop being a child. I was speaking first. Go ahead. Interrupted. Please, stop being a child. Adrian's over.
So if we're gonna, bro, are you cool?
Thank you, Adrian.
So
take the notes down there, Yakubu. You're interrupting too much. Go ahead, Adrian.
I mean, if we're going to talk about, Donald Trump being picked based off of his identity, then I guess we have to look at how he was picked, if that is going to be the argument, right? Donald Trump tapped into the identity of America, right? And it resonated with a lot of people. This is something that Hillary Clinton has not done and was not doing at the time. Donald Trump tapped into the identity of America. His slogan was "Make America Great Again," right? A lot of people don't like high taxes. He tapped into that. A lot of people don't like abortions. He tapped into that. He tapped into jobs. He tapped into the very fabric of the American identity that the citizens can identify with. And this is what won him the White House during his first run, right? It wasn't about whether or not he was qualified. I mean, if we're going to look at Donald Trump's identity, then before he announced his candidacy, right, everybody wanted to be next to Donald Trump. They wanted to be in his vicinity. They wanted to be in his orbit because of his proven track record of success. No one was not hating Donald Trump until they were told to hate Donald Trump until after he announced his candidacy, right? So if we're going to talk about identity politics, then I guess you cannot be mad at the way Donald Trump played the game. He just utilized the rules better than you did, which i.e., Hillary Clinton. So I don't see how liberals or Democrats are mad at the way that he got the White House when he played the exact same game that they implemented and installed and reinforced themselves, which is identity politics.
Well, Adrian, let me say this for two seconds. Adrian, I agree with a lot of things you're saying, but he also played into America's fears, and he's also positioned himself as some kind of anti-hero against the establishment. When truth be told, Adrian, he's always been part of that establishment. But kudos to him for being able to distance himself from the reality of the situation.
Yeah, those are also excellent points. I want to say, as the liberal Democrat you're alluding to, I agree with part of what you're saying, and I disagree with part. The part that I agree with is that he gave a positive message, and that's more attractive. You had to pick. It seemed to me, and again, I go with my kid because he came to it with fresh eyes. He'd never voted before, and he was sort of pure. He didn't come with biases. And he said that it seemed, he and I like Bernie, by the way, just so you know. We campaigned for Bernie. But he said of Hillary that it seemed like she was scolding you all the time. She seemed to come with a negative view of America. And she seemed to be selling this view of racism, sexism, patriarchy, anti-gay, and was deplorable, Islamophobic, all this stuff. Those seem to be part of her selling points. That's just a different view of America. And I think Trump, who is a salesman above all, he was selling a different view. He was selling that Ronald Reagan sitting on a shining hill idea, as in make America great again. Now, somebody that I got into a discussion with, it was a black woman in real world who I was working with. She said, when has America ever been great? And she felt a little, I would say, irritated with that as a selling point. And we can talk about that among ourselves, isn't it? There are answers to that. But it's interesting that one can look either and see America's greatness, or one can look and describe America as deplorable or negative. And you know, that's a decision you can make. It's not like one person's right and one person's wrong. So that decision is more based on how functional is your. Does it help to look at it as a bad country or a flawed country, or does it help to look at it in a positive way? Especially since we're Americans.
Logical positivism.
Especially since we're working and paying taxes. I mean, if we're going to hate our own country, that seems to be dysfunctional. Let me mute up and hear whatever.
The Democrats deliberately moved to a different strategy about 10 years ago, and this was part of the punditry announcing this deliberate move. So what they did is they abandoned the white working class, and they went towards this policy, this practice of trying to cobble together these disenfranchised, oppressed minority groups, whether it's LGBTQ or Black women or whatever minority group that they felt they could cobble together to serve as they saw that they were kind of